I actually asked in the chat while they were doing West Coast versus East
Liberation
Coast,
Day.
or which one do you like better? I just threw in to Joe specifically, Biggie or Pac, but I guess he didn't see it. So he's East Coast, so he's obviously going with Biggie.
He's East Coast.
I think look, man, you can like you might be East Coast. Obviously, we're here, so we're on the East Coast. But I can still prefer Pac music to Biggie. I think that's a reasonable thing. The shorts have come into the market. Obviously,
it's
one of the
somewhat reasonable.
Well, I think it's reasonable.
No. I don't even. I might have like one Tupac album. I don't really.
Oh, really? So you're Biggie then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not even close, man.
You know what?
To me.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you this right now. With Biggie, it's about what he's saying. Like for Pac, most of the time, I love the way he flows and sort of like his feel and the passion for you get into it, but you feel what Pac was saying. You feel his music a little bit more. Like that's the best way I could explain it. But I don't think you could argue that he's as good of a lyricist as Biggie. But as I said, the market's coming back in here. We're still green. The market's still green. But since 19.9 on the NASDAQ, we've been pulling back. That TikTok story that Adara brought, or at least, saying that it could probably not happen. Amazon, I think it's obvious. Like, do you really think that one of the big boys is going to be able to get TikTok? But you never know. I did take the reversion short on Amazon. We're in that Intel off the top. I still have that DJT off VWAP. Like, that's just not going anywhere off of VWAP. It's just sort of hanging around there and been in it all afternoon. I turned it into a scalp trade because, hit enter twice. I turned it into a scalp trade because it wasn't going. Right? So it was like, while the news was happening, and you saw my plan of action was, let's just hold it and see if it can't completely squeeze. And then it kind of holds and it slowly, then it starts bouncing off VWAP. I'm like, okay, if it bounces off VWAP, then I'll just dip by it and scalp the trade because it's clearly something different right now. So my stop is underneath this 19 support a little bit tighter. It's just, you got to be able to change your action in there. There was no continuation on that DJT story. So we'll see what happens the rest of this day. You know, at 4 o'clock, we're probably going to get a little bit of action. It'll be rapid fire. Myself and Adara will be trying to cover everything that is tariff related for everybody. But yeah, right now we're just in that Amazon reversion. Intel went to prior day resistance. So like it broke out. I was in that Intel at 22. It broke 22, and then it got to yesterday's resistance spot. And so that's back into VWAP. VWAP retracements are the name of the day. And Tesla is on another wavelength. I promise you this is one you guys are going to talk about, or that you guys asked in the poll. My frustration is I averaged up on a Tesla trade. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Throw a stop, average up, and then put a stop higher after our initial entry on the news. And then let's just go to the meeting. Got stopped out while I wasn't at the desk, and then it came right back into that price at 75. But that's the issue. And we'll get into this a little bit more about averaging up in a trade. Sometimes when you have a good entry and you want more, it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to move your stop too much higher because you don't give it as much room. But a great day for Tesla, no questions asked, as it's on the crest of this 285 level, which has been a resistance before.
Yeah, Tesla, again, you know, we talk about this all the time. Great name to trade, little tough sometimes to get the right pricing and sort of get what you're looking for. But wow, okay, what the hell just happened to Intel? We have a great trade here on Intel, guys. This is looking like an absolute insane way to trade this thing, and I do agree. We did get, wow, what just happened? Okay, I guess it's the market obviously giving some back here. Yeah, so all good on that one. My bad, as it is the market giving some up right now. No, yeah, Intel, we were short into that high, and it wasn't even, we were just getting carried away a little bit as it just kept on going. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Like looking at some of these levels, getting right back to sort of where we were yesterday in the afternoon, 2250. Yeah, kind of lucky that we did have this drop down. We knew we wanted to be short here, though. We'll talk about Palantir is by far the biggest stock. We were just lucky enough that as we were pushing some laps through, this came back into 85, which just matched right there into that. And then by the time, you know, we still had some orders upside because we were still long, but, you know, getting out up here when we got back earlier, but at the end of the day, we took some out, then we let this thing run all the way to 88 and change. Palantir, monster name today. And definitely glad that we have that one, PLTR. So All right, man. Intel's an absolute monster. It's going to be my P&L number 2, PLTR number 1. We wound up losing on the TQs. Got a big trade still, but coming back in a little bit. All right, Joe is ready for us there at the screen. Great job for Obi filling in for Sharif today. And we've got Joe filling in for the rundown, so let's go.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and happy trading. Today, it is the afternoon rundown with me. Make sure you get those votes in with Obi and I during the midday show. But first on the docket, we have Amazon putting in a bid for TikTok, set to put in a bid up about 1% on the day, breaking out on strong volume. Let's see if that can be sustained. And if it's a buy the rumor, sell the news type event, guys.
Yeah, well, right now they're selling the news, at least on Amazon. I'm actually going to make an adjustment live. As we're sort of showing, it is what it is. Like, we were sitting in a meeting, as I said, throughout lunchtime. So when that news hit, wasn't even there to trade it. Get back and watch the story release that it's unlikely that that deal could ever happen. You're not getting TikTok. And then it just did a trend reversion. So the trend line, in this case, is obvious because the news spike is right here. So that's the first point. Connect the dots. Reversion. It's now put 3 lower highs in on a 3-minute. So I'm holding it into VWAP, which is different on these 2 charts. Okay.
Impossible.
Oh, I know why. No, this is, yeah, okay, anyways. My black chart has VWAP at a different price, but I'll go with this. So it needs to get into 94, but I'm trailing it out. Either it breaks trend or we get all the way into VWAP on Amazon. I know we're short right now, but one thing we were observing the last few days is all of these great looking bottoming tail candles on some of these stocks. So yeah, short reversion trade right now, but look at this bottoming tail under 190 on Amazon and the recovery. In a general sense, I tend to think this is at least heading to 200. Tonight can change a lot of things, obviously at 4 o'clock, sentiment in the market, but if things continue as they are and there isn't much of a disruption, that's a great reversal candle and a couple of days of holding to the upside. I think next test would be 200 and maybe even higher than that, so long as things don't go completely haywire in the market to the downside, which can happen. That's the issue with looking at something technically. You have to remember that events, data, earnings, all that can throw it for a loop, especially a little relief rally like this in Amazon.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a mover of the needle enough. We know Amazon does have AWS, and it's a big story there. So obviously to get more traffic and collect some of the revenues there from TikTok traffic is going to be big for them. I don't know, like I said, nice to be up 1.8% with the market up only 0.5%. Amazon's been a struggle for a minute. So as we know, down here into 190, I still am nervous about stepping in and buying this name. I wonder if it's, again, to dip in and look at some of these plays, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've just already been dipping, and we're only right back to where we were middle of last week. So I'd like to see us clear the 200, be over there for a little bit before we get too excited about Amazon. But hey, man, a good story is a good story, and we know that a lot of these names can pull the trigger very, very quickly. I don't know, where's Meta? Okay, Meta's at the very bottom, but I was going to say that little story that I was like, wow, who cares about really the glasses there? They sort of took off there for Meta, and we got back up to 590 for them as well. So little small stories sometimes can mean a lot. So we'll wait to see if there is any story or truth here to this Amazon rumor, I guess. But at the end of the day, you know, how much is this really going to matter for Amazon? Obviously, we still worry about, we have numbers this on Friday. We have non-farm payrolls. I think that's going to be huge, especially for the retail side of things. So that's really what we're looking at for Amazon. We know the cloud should be strong. So TikTok just playing into that a little bit there. So yeah, the big one that we thought would be number 1, Tesla. Let's go find out about Tesla. And then I assume Alex Karp. Of course, whoever put Alex Karp there would be with a K, would be the right name for Alex Karp. So
I think well, that was probably intentional for the fish.
I would say it's not intentional, but we'll see.
Well, I thought maybe there was just the whole, like, making the joke of, anyways, I don't know. Tesla, let's go.
Tesla, a lot going on with Tesla here today, guys. So Trump tells Inner Circle that Musk will leave DOGE very soon. And then we also had deliveries this morning, a big anticipated number here, guys. So Q1 deliveries estimated about 390,000, but coming in a little bit short of that here, guys, 336,000 roughly. Still positive on the session, a good rally here in Tesla.
Story of 2 days, story of 2 catalysts. What was that TikTok?
AppLovin. So it's the same type of
Okay,
thing.
yeah,
So
same thing,
Steve Wynn, just to add to that story, it's Amazon apparently looking to bid, AppLovin apparently to bid. The AppLovin bid has Steve Wynn involved. So just hearing that in our ear, but we can look at APP. Sharif. What's up, Sharif? He's not even here. Adara had reported that earlier.
AppLovin didn't move on.
AppLovin at 300.
AppLovin's already pulled back a little bit. There was a slight spike down on, not much, maybe like 20, 30 cents, lost a bit on Amazon, but nothing's really changed on that stock. So Tesla, tale of two cities, or that's the book, tale of two trades. The morning, it was trending to the downside on the short. Despite, I didn't get it until the open. And like I said this morning, the term I used for this was getting away with shorting it in the uptrend more than anything else, because I got it almost like a great wick fill at 58 change into like 59.30 something was a local high. But that's one of those, I was sitting to average in higher. It just only filled the one, trailed out, got a win, and then short at the top, got enough out on the spike down for about $1 again. So that when it ran the stop, I was actually up still. But then I went, as I said, I went long and added to it and then put in a trailing stop that was too tight and triggered me out, unfortunately. So yeah, it should have been a great continuation long on Tesla. Let's just very quickly, 200 period M resistance is right here in the high 80s on Tesla. Like 287 is a 200 period moving average, and you can go right back into this day. So 27th, 25th, where effectively you broke out 85 and then, but it failed closer to 90. So each time it pressed, it would get that move into 90. So I think if you're trying to revert this and it breaks 85, history has told you, it hasn't been wrong till 290. So any reversion short, probably I don't think I'd be trying to start it at 86 or 87. If we break out that top, I think you wait till 90 to go. And dips, I was thinking dips into prior high, which is yesterday's high. That's 77.5. And if you don't think Tesla can move that much, then you haven't seen Tesla.
Yeah, I was going to say we are flat on Tesla today, which is kind of too bad because there was big opportunities there. We just started the day short Tesla. We never got going on the long. You know, we have part of trading and being on the show is, of course, that you look for all the opportunities and you try to pay attention to the chat. You try to look different ways. Not an excuse for not being in Tesla. It's just I didn't really think it had this kind of move in it. Now, obviously, you know, the extension comes from the rumors about DOGE, right? And so with Elon Musk, you know, leaving, not leaving, staying, you know, until he's completed, so on and so forth. I think now that the rumblings are there, it's more likely that he'll probably, I would think, sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. I would say that he's probably going to be exiting pretty soon and getting back to business here with Tesla. Just lost way too much money personally he has there in his net wealth. He needs to get this back going to the upside. And it looks like we're about to do that, a breakthrough 300. We always talk about not wanting to be long at certain levels or short. I think you go short until we break above 300. And right now, this has been a downside play all afternoon here for the market. And you can see Tesla is actually holding its levels. So yeah, for me, Tesla looking pretty strong today. I don't think if you're going to short based on tariffs, that would be something completely different. I think you could short the market if that was going to be the case. But at the end of the day, Tesla looking pretty good up here. The fact that it's holding up while the market has pulled back from 19, like we almost got back to 20, by the way, 19.9, right? All the way back in there for the market. So far so good here on that hold for the NASDAQ. But yeah, I like Tesla here. It just seems to be much stronger than the market. I would not short it at these levels.
And everybody, introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ. It is Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a US-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off the grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. And discover Alex Karp is spelt with a C.
There he is, Palantir, Chief Investment Officer here, guys, cutting the IT team by 60%. Abolish the IT team organization to drive agility and innovation. Still positive on the day, up 2.5% here, PLTR, guys.
Agility is very important. Very important. You want to make sure you have like open hips. You don't want to back issues, that kind of thing. I don't think Alex Karp is concerned about that kind of stuff. He doesn't seem like that kind of dude. But let's throw it up. He's his best hairstyle of all CEOs in the S&P.
I think so.
Well, sorry, I should say the Nasdaq now because they're in the Nasdaq.
I mean, I'm trying to show it over here. I don't know. Ramin, what's going on, Ramin? How are you doing?
We're good.
There's Alex Karp, of course, there. Karp. Shout out to my guy Joe over there. Yeah, for sure. I look, Palantir has been an absolute monster. We did obviously get a little bit lucky because as we were gone, we didn't get out. Like once we had bought this down here, we put this order there. I mean, we talked about 85s. You can go, it's just, lucky to get filled, obviously, but we got filled at 85.11s, pretty much the low of the day right there for Palantir. Obviously not the low of the open. I mean, we absolutely rocketed upside right there. But yeah, all right, I like the stock, obviously. Lucky enough that, we got out there as we had some offers sitting. We had some offers sitting here as well because we were long off VWAP, but we did get that dip buy, which did load us up, which was able to, once we got back, we talked about that back from the gym right there, got some out, and then we had some top ticks there as we were in and out, and then boom, right there to the downside. We did get out of half of what we had left once we broke that 87 mark. Look, government spending, right? We know that Palantir is going to be there. It's a defense name. It's an everything name. It's an AI play. It's a big data play. If AI is going to be part of the story again, I think Palantir is going to be one of the stories that we look forward to in this coming year. I still like the play. It's not overly strong this year, but if you're going to look at it, it just had this huge scale up there to get to the PE of like 400 or something like that. Now that you're coming back down, remember from the beginning of the year, we were pretty lucky that we're still in the green, but you did have a move down there early January. So it's too bad the year-to-date number doesn't start down here. But there it goes all the way up to 124 and a nice pullback as we start to settle down. Still a very, very high PE. You are paying for that growth, but not many are going to be able to do what they're doing, at least right now. They have the infrastructure in place. They have the government contracts, and as we go. So if this world does get a little topsy-turvy, if it's not already, I think Palantir wins. And very, very
topsy-turvy.
Yeah, I know. So very, very connected Palantir is to the Nasdaq. Like it's just amazing. When it runs, and then when it Palantir was up 5% at one point, Nasdaq was up like 1%, and if Nasdaq is down 1%, Palantir is probably down 4 or 5%. So the beta to the market is definitely a plus there for Palantir.
On the defense thing, again, I've been talking about Europe and defense spending for a while now, but it was Norway's sovereign wealth fund. They're making they're discussing whether they should change their rules regarding what they're allowed to invest in to include defense stocks.
Wow.
Because all the defense stocks in Europe have been going up, and they're like, well, if there's growing spending there, why wouldn't we allow investing in it? So this is where, if that's what Norway's sovereign wealth fund is thinking, defense spending, it just goes from one place to the other. Want to shout out Fugazi Bear for noting that you can't spell DeLorean without Elon. I agree. It's in there. I don't know exactly why we're talking about DeLoreans, but they're cool, and you got to get them to 88. The only point I would make about Palantir is just never forget prior resistance turning into support. It's one of those. I wasn't here. I wasn't looking at Palantir, but when Sean's showing that 85, it's just yesterday's high, and it'd be Friday's close. So Friday's close, yesterday's high, and then there you get a level that comes back in. I think if we get down there, it's a logical place to look for a dip buy. And on the daily, yet another name, bottoming tail candle at 80, and then a little bit of a relief rally. Not at the 50 period yet, though. And a lot can happen after 4 o'clock tonight. Next, a little bit of Bitcoin.
All right, guys, Bitcoin sees $768 million in outflows in March. Still positive here on the day and rallying the past couple of sessions. Let's see what the big boys think about Bitcoin.
I love Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin.
I like gold.
Not going to hate on it. But we're still on the higher time frame, we're still in the same pocket on Bitcoin. So it's great that we're getting a rally and we're finally moving away from 85,000 to an extent. But we haven't really broken, I'm not going to draw a trend line here. You guys can get the idea of what it would look like. We haven't really broken this downward trend on the way to that prior breakout on the daily, this is like 73.7 or whatever it works out to be. So I think you still have an issue there. break that trend, I think you're going to retest over 90. If you don't, we're still kind of working our way down. So there's a lot that can still happen for BTC in general. This afternoon, I don't know, I got wrapped up yesterday looking for Bitcoin to move in the afternoon, and it did absolutely nothing. And right now it's going sideways. So usually I'd think, yeah, this is something you want to buy off VWAP. It broke out at VWAP. There's your price. But I'm looking at a few other things. Like Amazon, if it gets to VWAP, makes sense to me. Well, I think you revert that and back into a long. Apple lost. Apple's still in the pocket. Like it's holding 223, which is a dip into VWAP here. So that could be in the pocket as well. This is one I have my eyeballs on. But right now it's under the volume weighted average price. I think I'd trade this at VWAP maybe over IBIT. I don't think I'll look at it. Yesterday, it was a waste to have it up, looking for something to happen in it when it just wouldn't. Like the short worked in the afternoon on IBIT, it just didn't give you much.
Yeah, look, we were looking short early on everything, and we talked about the sort of the relationship between the Nasdaq and crypto in general. Let's look at some. They call them different kind of coins. We'll just say altcoins for now. Whoops, where did it go? Oh yeah, there it is. Let's have a quick look to see what's going on. We'll refresh it and then just let it go, because a lot of people are excited about Ripple right there. XRP. Last 7 days, man, we got that decision. I think it was 2 weeks ago there, and now it's down to 214 again, so we'll have to watch out for that. Solana, not greatest, but at 130 seems to be holding out okay. Dogecoin down there at 17, yucky to yuck yuck. Cardano as well at 68. I mean, this Cardano ripped to 110 or something on that tweet there about being added into the, or not added, but being a part of, or some sort of a role in, what am I looking for? The crypto reserve there as well. Not much else going on here. Ethereum still, man, like 1900. I still can't believe what Brian was mentioning. They're down 45% year to date on Ethereum, and that's pretty bad. So, yeah, look, we'll just keep on doing this. Whoa, this is Intel, by the way. Like, how badly was this traded? Only to be the second best stock around here. All the way up, all the way out, added more, then it absolutely tanked. Wish we still had the load there, and this is why it's kind of good sometimes to take that break. And I'm like, oh man, what have I done? I need to go, be a little less aggressive. If we just hold this into like sort of past support right there, then the trade becomes monstrous. But as you're losing, you take some out on the way back up there. So we'll talk about Intel as we go through this rundown. But right now, one last one. I see you, Meta. What are you up to?
It's a good one there. Sean, Meta planning to drop $1,000 smart glasses with hand gesture to control as it takes on Apple rival, all right? Also, inking a multi-year deal with TKO Group, UFC, and Dana White here on today's session. Let's see what Meta can do. We're negative on the day here, guys.
White?
Not doing anything good right now. Nasdaq's still actually up 0.2. So here's the Nasdaq up 0.2 above VWAP, the volume weighted average price. Meta down 0.5 and underneath the volume weighted average price. It's relatively weak. It's been under pressure. It's battling with its 200 period moving average. Remember the other charts that we've been showing you? It wasn't that many of them, but you saw Palantir's chart, you saw Amazon's chart since we had the bottom, kind of steady up days since we had that little wick bottom. And unfortunately for Meta, this is putting a little bit of throwing a wrench in this plan for a strong bounce off the 200 period moving average again. It's a big couple of days here for Meta because, and we said this morning, if Meta loses this support here at that 560 where it bounced before in the 200 period, it's not absurd. Like remember, like the August low was 440 on this thing. You know, like that crazy day where everyone was like freaking out in the morning and it was just free money to go long. Like that was, like that's $140 from here. That's almost 25%, probably like 22 or 23% from here. And it's not crazy if we do have a really bad leg for the market again, we get another pullback, that you could see that level. I think that's a load up area for Meta. I think this afternoon, if I was going to trade it, I'd probably lean to the short side, but you know, I think there's probably other names that I like a little bit better for the short side of the trade than Meta. But at least from the chart, a little bit concerned. Not concerned in the long term, and it is a stock that is on my list of things that I'm, not a long list, but it's one of the ones I'm dip buying. So like I did buy off the 200 period last time, and I am going to be buying if you even see anything with the 4 in front of it on Meta. I like the valuation too. It's actually fairly reasonable relative to the Mag 7.
All right. No, we definitely...
Mag 7.
Mag what?
No, I said Mag 7. It's like finish the word.
Lazy.
I know.
We're all lazy.
I get
these
lazy
days.
sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense anyways.
I feel like
All right, not much to talk about with Meta. I mean, we talked about that was going to be one of the top stocks for us to be buying there. I'm actually looking right now at the TQs with a pushback into VWAP. It's really had VWAP all day. That's where we were initially short. We went from short to long, and now we wait to see if we do get that drip down, and we are getting it right now. 59 coming into play there. We did take some more out right here on Intel as it comes right back in. So I'm going to add to this position. We are still long in 57s. Oh, sorry, here. That was Intel. The TQs right now. So we're right here right now. I think we might as well take something if we can, which of course we can. So let's go just a little bit. We'll punch into some 04s there. Watching out for VWAP. And again, just understanding that that is where it is. So we're going to have to just kind of respect it. We don't want to get carried away here. Obviously, as many traders are looking at these, hour and a half, we have the Rose Garden. Is it called the Rose Garden? That they're going to be making this announcement there, and very, very decorated. It's the very, very best garden ever. So they'll be there and ready to go on that. Just looking at where we may want to think about getting stopped out right now. I like to use VWAP as the levels, but we've already sort of tested down there into 70. So I think a break down below that level and we can squash. So we're not going to be layered into this. I think as we come in, we're basically at VWAP now. Let's try right here. We'll get out 58.69 if it does break lower on this one. So there we go, TQQ 58.79. That's that. Did I say 79 or 69? Hold on a second. I got to cancel that. All right, so I put 56.99. That was from before. So right into there. That level is, 58.69. Okay, so let's do that right now. 58.69. We'll just stop out there immediately. If it breaks that low, then we are gone. We do have another bid, as we said, waiting to get longer. They're down near 57s, but I think right now that we're getting into 80s, this is good enough for me. So let's put some bids on right now. As we broke below VWAP, let's give it a little shake, rattle, and roll. Does anybody know which wrestler that's from?
I should know this. You know what?
Very, very correct, Neil.
No, I know at least. When my mind was in something else and I was typing something in the chat to Nick W. You know when your mind's somewhere else and you get thrown on the spot with a question, you're like, crap, I should know it. And now I'm just completely blanking and it's not making it any better. Because I have that other song in my head, which I'm trying to not have it in my head right now, Sean. And it's
the Honky Tonk Man.
It's not even that.
That's why I was like, that's not a hard one. It's the Honky Tonk Man.
We'll do that. Man. That shouldn't have been that difficult. Just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. One, that DJT lost 19, so I got out of it. Wasted. Bro. Trust me. No, got out of DJT off of VWAP. It'll end up being a flat trade. I thought it was going to be a big one, so we were like, let's average into it and build into it. Then it turned into a scalp trade. So I scalped it. It'll be mostly a flat trade. Amazon's coming into VWAP. I'm covering it VWAP, and I'm looking trend reverse off VWAP on Amazon. So this is the trend line. My trail is at the trend line. At least I have been manually moving it. I just realized I did not move it again. So if it breaks trend, I'm out. If it hits VWAP, I'm out and looking to reverse into the long on either the break a trend or just a straight bounce off the volume weighted average price. Intel, I'm bidding under. No, that's wrong. Let me just move that. This bid should be 2176. I want to be bidding out in front of this jump zone here. Like Intel caught a bid at 11.18. I know because I was still in a little bit of the short. It stopped me out. I jumped right back in and then stopped out there, jumped in, stopped out there, got the top. I'm getting out in front of 75. Or if it breaks VWAP at this point, I'll just trail it to 22 even. Might even reshort it at VWAP, to be honest with you, on Intel. But I think Amazon's going to...
All right, I got to get away from
I think Amazon's going to be next for me because if it's going to bounce, I like the strength overall. We showed that daily chart. I like what's going on there. I was just double-checking Apple as well. Now, Apple's still trending down. Better play to look for the Amazon bounce if we can find it. In KK14, you are right about the Dow. You are right about the S&P, where they're testing red, but we're not actually red yet. The ES is up 0.16. Yes, we are trending back in, but we're not red yet on the overall market. We haven't gone red to green. The NASDAQ's still a little bit green. The ES is technically still a little bit green. But I get you. We've been trending down for a while now. It feels as if the market turned when that Amazon, what do we call it, like correction of the story or update or whatever you wanna
Amazon,
call it. Since then, it's like everything pulled back, even though like, it had nothing to do with the overall market. It was just a TikTok story.
Yeah, there is impending doom, of course, as we know.
Oh no!
Apparently, with
All
I've been liberated today. I mean, we're having a great day. It's a well positive day for us today, and that's pretty much all because of Palantir. We got to stop doing this right now because we might not even get back to green here on the TQs. Like that's twice now. It happened actually maybe even 3 times now on the triple Qs where we get stopped out there, then it blasts, and we get stopped out there, then it literally blasts and goes up 300, 400, 500 handles straight there to the upside, and then it just happened again right there again where we got taken out at that wick, and then basically part of that move to the downside. Then we get right back in trying to play off of that, and then we make that money. We don't make it all back because it has to go back to the upside, but we'll wait to see. Good trade there, making a little bit back on the TQs as we get stopped out, and it's not a wick out. It's when you put the stops there. Like this is the thing: when you put your stop order at a level and it stops out, then you got stopped out. It's trying to see and trying to be on the stock, which is what I'm always watching, is to try to say, okay, did we misplay maybe our hand there? Like,
you know what a wick out looks like?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll show you one.
Okay, let me just show you. Let me show you what.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say because when that number happened was right at 10. Yeah, right there, right at 10. It's like when everything was fine, and then all of a sudden the number created that move, and then it was down. For me, that would be more appropriate. But what was the example?
Well, there's a couple. One of them, the news one is a great example of a wick out. Like, and that's why you put out that what the economic calendar is going to be because you're in a trade and 10 o'clock can hit. Another one to me is like the breakout, like the fake breakout, like on CoreWeave at 60 today. It broke 60, but it didn't really break 60 the first time through. It triggered in anybody that had a stop order for 60, but it never actually, like there was never a bid above 60. Like dark pools printed 01s, triggering people at 01s, but it never actually went above the even dollar in any real sense other than people getting triggered in. When that happens, I find like I just punch out right away. I'm like, oh, it didn't actually break. And then the second break was actually really good on CoreWeave. So there's a couple of things that are wicks. It's like if it's almost like nothing happened except for triggering some people.
Yeah.
That's the way to look at it. So, okay, like if Amazon's going to break the trend in here, I'm just going to, I'm going to wait for the
What
top.
are you?
I'm just punching out. I was about to move the trail from there to there. I mean, it's already at that price. So I just punched out of the stock. So grab the reversion on Amazon. I always feel this way. Trend reversion on strong stock, on a strong stock, get the fill, take it to VWAP, or if it clearly has a defined trend in VWAP, when it breaks that trend, just get out. And then even here, I think looking for the long is going to make sense, but I do want it to close this bar above. That cannot work sometimes. Like here on trend, try to close above, you do a long here, probably somewhere in this candle, and then it breaks down and then you're out. But I still want to give Amazon a chance because I feel like the strength is in this name. It's this or Apple, and I just feel like Amazon's looking stronger, that's all.
All right, we're just getting out of some of these TQs as a nice level here for sure as we go up now 30 handles into the money. So good trade there. I'm going to try to wait now 459.40s. I actually just put an offer right now 59.20s right at that top right there to see if we can get that. That's 25s. Then we can get up to the 50 period, then up to the 200. And then we'll see how liberated we do feel today as it is starting to go back up. Intel, good outs there near the lows. So we're really happy with the way Intel just traded and treated us. So we're going to punch out a little bit more here as we get some half prints there. You might have just saw that start to get executed. We'll wait for, now we got to start to maybe get out. We really want these futures to go. There it is. There's our 22s. Let's go. Let's see what we can do here, if we can have these hands or not. As there goes the futures, man. Nicely cooking. Now, up to the upside. So good. So fine, we did get stopped out, bought it back, here it goes. And that's the thing, like get stopped out for 10 or 15 handles kind of does suck. That's why I'm like, my mood is like, hate getting stopped out, but it's nice that it comes right back. And I'm just thinking to myself, like if you're gonna get stopped out, then stop. Okay, first of all, I know we're live on the air, and you know, in the morning we'll have 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 plus viewers. Right now, I want to thank everybody that's joining. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe, by the way. Over 6,000 of you watching right now. And if all of us, not that all of us are trading the Qs, probably none of us are, or let alone the TQs, but some of these levels, this is a level that is also on the NASDAQ. So when that gets run and people have been dip buying this, their out is probably very, very similar to mine. So I think I got to either do a couple things, and that is take a little bit more risk and just layer down to that next level. And if we're wrong, yeah, then we'll lose like 30 or 40 more cents, or we either use less shares coming into these levels, let it break, and then do what we did, buy the bottoms, and hopefully it's a bottom, and that way we have some momentum with us. There's another out there at 33, so it's working out for us, but it will be red today on the futures. But what we're red on the futures is we're almost double on Palantir, but again, we were pretty lucky to get, well, hopefully it'll be more than double, but we'll be pretty lucky to have gotten that fill and then not have gotten out. So it just goes to show that, you know, sometimes if you sit in a trade for long enough, it will work out for you, and scalping out is not necessarily always the best. But I do think today with Liberation Day, I don't want to double talk, we have been scalping out, and especially now that we're an hour and a half away. Remember, it's 3 p.m. Central Time, I believe, 4 p.m. Eastern, that we're going to get a discussion there, an announcement. And you know what happens when it's 20% across the board, everything? What if it's they start to list the different? And Neil's going to be on the recap show, so that's going to be great with Adara, and they'll be probably talking all about that, man, having the different sectors up. Like, all right,
Following, because I think there's going to be some crazy price action across the board.
Sure. I mean, what if Canada follows with lumber? Then you're going to see housing.
Oh my goodness,
you know, take a hit.
I already wouldn't like the
future.
housing stocks. I'll tell you that much. I think it could get be really bad. Yeah, I don't like it at all, because I feel like there's some places where it could only be nasty and there might not be anything good about it. But there's always the chance that it's lighter than expected. Like, let's say it ends up lighter than expected and everyone's all happy. And
yep. I think that's what people are thinking now. I mean, look at we had the close. NASDAQ closed yesterday at the highs. The TQs right now would be gorgeous if it closed near the highs, because right now we are still in about 20% of this long. Looking now, that's 59.80. So we've gotten all these levels, man, that we are waiting for. We talked about what we were waiting for, and we got that into the 50-period moving average. We got many outs, many outs, you know, the best of the outs right there. And then we'll wait to see if we can get 59.75 as our next one. And we just got Intel also. So we're starting to print right now all over the place. Let's just get ready. I mean, we did talk a little, we didn't really talk too much there about what we were expecting. And I was just thinking that, like, if it does come out and maybe there's a little bit of a relief, what could be announced for China? You know, is it going to be something that the Chinese can get behind? Is it going to be too aggressive? FXI right now, you know, that's going to be something to watch in the after hours, as that should be able to move around. Stock-specific names like Alibaba or whatnot may be a little bit different. I think it's safer to look at some of the ETFs and see what's going on with those, of course. And again, just wait to see what exactly the rumors and the truths are coming to fruition at 4 p.m. Before VGK, I don't show this enough. This is the European, we talk about this is the European ETF fund. And I was just about to tell you guys that, like, across the board, Europe is like super strong. Like, I know that a lot of us just live in our own little world here, especially in the United States. But like from the beginning of the year, so the S&P 500 is down 4%, NASDAQ's down 8%, I believe-ish. And right there, I mean, we can do the math. This is from the beginning of the year, which is right here. I guess it's actually going to look better for them. So top to bottom, they were already up 17%. Then if we draw that again and we get rid of it and put it back to where we are right now, and we say the low, that's Jan 1st right there, and we go to where we are right now, we are still up. I know it's hard for you to see, 11% right now year to date, as opposed to the SPY down about 3 or 4%, give or take today. So just wanted to say that, like, Europe is pretty strong. You could definitely have a look here to see if there's any weakness in Europe, where the VGK and some of those other names land tonight. So just another quick look, for everybody that will be here late. There it goes. There goes the TQs, man. Nicely cooking. I mean, it's basically now 10 straight upticks for the futures since we got stopped out and back in. Ay, ay, ay. So far, so good here. Could always be cleaner, but let's go. We'll take the longs as we see them. $2 still on Palantir. Palantir making the move back up. I think we'll take advantage of that as well and take a couple pieces out here at 93, and there it goes. So, yeah. So far, so good. A nice move back there for PLTR as well. Should have bought a lot of things at VWAP, but we were focused on the futures and glad we were.
Yeah, it's a good out on these shorts. I'm just going to move we said we'd move if Amazon, Intel. If Intel broke VWAP, we're going to jump out of it. It's actually, look, it's broken trend. So technically speaking, a lot of times I would have punched out. I'm not thinking about this one for a long side. It was Amazon that I want. But if we break out above 22, then I'm out of the stock or we get to the low. Actually, the name that I was looking at in the chip space for the long, because it respected VWAP so well, I didn't trade today. I didn't trade it today, day trade. We traded Micron yesterday. But like everything else, strong move, pull back into VWAP, and now bouncing. Like Micron because of the daily chart, as we mentioned yesterday. So I want to go, if I don't get Amazon, which I'm still just sitting on the bid after that trend break on Amazon, we punched out of the short, but didn't get the long. I can move to the quarters. Let's see if we can't get this one in front of 195, but I also like Micron in here as it holds on to VWAP. So look for any dip that gets me close to VWAP. I'm not saying it gets all the way back to the high, but you got the 88 even dollar level. You've got the volume weighted average price. A lot of things that can go well for it. And just a bit of a reminder, on the daily chart, this is one of the other reasons I like it down here. All kinds of support on the daily chart that it's bouncing off of here for MU. So just sort of scanning when I didn't get the reverse in Amazon, what do I still like to the long side for sure. And Charles Zhang, can someone please justify why Tesla is up? I mean, it's not necessarily about justifying. So this spike on volume, it was already bouncing after the deliveries numbers. Sometimes you see that. Like you get an exhaustion of a move to the downside after deliveries, but the spike in the breakout was on the talk that Elon will be stepping down at some point, although they said once his work with DOGE is done. And if you were of the ilk that his time away from being focused on Tesla and the many companies that he runs and the negative sentiment around it, if that's a lot of the reason Tesla was up, well, some shorts probably were like, this is a great place for us to cover. Because anybody that was shorting it at any one of these levels recently is deeply in the money. Like there's very few places where it set up a short, any hedge fund or anybody out there, that they wouldn't be in the money on this. So I guess some people probably took some profit. Not necessarily, it doesn't matter why, the price action speaks for itself. So what did they just say? Somebody
could be maxing out their ad business.
Yeah, so there was just a report, I don't know who it was from, that said Amazon's ad business could be maxing out. All I heard was Amazon. I didn't actually hear the rest of the story, and I just got it now. So I'm going to cancel my bids in that situation. I like Micron off VWAP. I like Amazon too, but if I hear a negative story coming in, I can choose the other one. So I'm going to go now bid over on Micron and just cancel on Amazon. As simple as that. You know, like you don't have to fight a stock if there's news.
Well, that's for sure. I'll try a short. I know something about their advertising business. We'll try it.
Yeah,
just right here. I don't know. We're going to give it to 75s. If it breaks, it breaks. So we'll wait to that one. Short there on Amazon. Yeah, so you guys want to look at some new names. We did talk about a little bit of new names today. We do have a new IPO, SMA. I want to thank whoever that was there in the chat. We do have a super chat. I just was asking for some reports there from traders. What do you guys want us to look at? So we did get some there. SGMO, a little 70-cent stock there. Sangamo Therapeutics, 64 cents, up 11%. SMA, a lot of people looking at that. Hey, what's going on with Google? We definitely will have a look at that one for you as well in just a couple seconds. So we'll look at all of those, man. SMA, SGMO, and Google. But yeah, there it is. Another successful IPO today. 32, 33. I mean, it's not like, oh my God, we're going ham, but it's going and it's doing something right now. So there it goes, man.
Oh, there's a cost.
SMA. I don't know enough about, the shares released or anything like that, but it was a nice move. And we always are looking for top breaks. We saw what happened with CoreWeave and all of these names. Right now, look at the way the time in sales is moving. So right now, price Okay, position board down temporarily as we work on upgrades. But right now you can see that SMA doesn't really have the juice for it. So we'll pass on that. And then I'll throw over to Neil in a second. Here's this SGMO. Just because you asked, obviously you're just looking to see if there's any sort of action on this name. Whenever I see something like this, it's pretty easy. You've now broken through this level here at 70 cents. So obviously today it's looking for that life raft, right? And, maybe it gets it down here at 30 or 40 cents. The big play, if you're looking here, I would think anyways, would be that you're hoping that maybe you can get a reverse split and do some sort of a pop one more time. So I would say, yeah,
You know what they say in Monty Python?
No.
The Holy Grail.
Oh.
Anytime they run into an issue in Monty Python, the Holy Grail, run away, run away. Sometimes it's just what you got to do.
Yeah.
To be able to run away.
Yeah, run away for sure.
And to the point of those IPOs, remember WXM from yesterday?
Yep.
We're like, when they spike, make sure you get your profit. WXM is the perfect example of that today. It lost. It's actually halted up, but it gave up more than the move. And actually got cut in half from $4 everywhere. So just be careful with that. It is halted to the upside as we speak. Let's go on over to Adara at the desk.
I looked into SmartStop, that IPO. I could not find how many shares were offered, but the one thing I did find was apparently the IPO was valued at $864 million. That would have been as of late March. But I'm seeing again around, basically what I'm seeing here is under $1 billion. I'm seeing anywhere from $810 million to $972 million. Most recently, $810 million. With SMA, they were trying to price the shares between $28 and $36, end up opening here around the mid-range of that $32.50. We also had another IPO, and that was TOPW that came out much earlier today. TOPW literally halted its first candle. It's been pretty halty. This is Top Win International. These here opened just below $5 a share, initially priced around $4. Back to you.
Yeah, you don't want that top double.
We got a little bit of, we're looking to get a little more out if we can. We got out of about 20% only as we just dipped right into the 30s. We just put some bids down here. So we actually got those fills on Amazon. Our best fill, I think, is 35. So nice little, 35. So 36s. So 40s and 36s right there on Amazon. Not a huge win. Obviously, as we talked about scalping out, that's why we took out 20%. Now we'll wait for lower here to see if this story actually means anything. We'll see if we can get some 19. Okay, we just got some more there at 40s again. We have my next bid is at 28s. I think that's kind of where it stopped. And then we'll look to see about maybe here at 15 and then down below a little bit. Remember where our stop was 75. So break, we're already kind of 1-to-1 here. We look to be a little bit lower on Amazon. And again, because we're scalping, it doesn't need to be a perfect setup or anything like that. We'll just take it where we see it. And if it wants to stall, then fine. If it wants to continue to go down, well, we will be able to hold at least half of that. I only have half worth on the bid. So if it does come in, we'll take something out like I just said there in the 20s, high 20s, and then hopefully around 15, and then we will let it breathe after that. So far so good here for our friend Amazon, as we've talked about TikTok today with them and everything else. So Google's a big position for me in my own account, but it's not necessarily a good position.
Super chat on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay, you can go. Yeah, I was taking it because.
Oh, go. Yeah, take it.
Yeah. So I did want to say thank you to Mitchell. We did ask for some different names, so thank you for bringing that up right now. And yeah, of course, Neil and I will look at these for you. So Mitchell, you want to know, and thank you again for the super chat, that $10. What was the question exactly? Yeah, what's going on with Google? So honestly, to me, very, very nervous about their next report. And it's pretty simple because I'm thinking that, hey, it's not great. Like, if there's any reports there about the search or anything like that that might be a little awry or a little bit not expected, I feel like it's the first time in many decades here that Google is kind of like on the defensive, where we are now worried about some of their revenue streams, right? I mean, I'm no longer just going to Google to find answers. I'm actually not even doing that at all. I'll open up Perplexity, I'll open up ChatGPT on my phone, and most of the things that I would use Google for, sure, if I'm looking for a website or I'm looking for a link or something like that, then definitely Google will be something that I would go into. But if I'm just looking to find an answer, we've seen Sharif literally chat GPT for everything. Like, he just asks it, what is the price of a Tesla car? And he just puts that into ChatGPT. You know, before you'd put that into Google and come up with 10 links. All of those 10 links would pay Google something, even if you clicked on it or not, because it was part of the sponsored ads or whatever. Nowadays, I just feel that that's just not happening as much. So I'm a little bit nervous about search. Sure, they have Gemini. I understand that. They're building it into their programs, but it's too easy to use other things right now. And I know YouTube is on fire. I understand that, but it's not on fire as much as my account. So I just, like right now, it's been a huge move to the downside. I don't think I want to step in front of this and buy it. I obviously understand where the strength lies. It's going to be in YouTube, and the PE being near 17 right now shows me that there is some reasons to buy it on valuation, but 17 can turn to 15, can turn to 12. And I mean, at the end of the day, this is definitely risk on if you take Google well under the 200 period and you are catching that falling knife. So if that's a recipe for you, then fine. But for me, I'm not buying any more back into Google. Let's hope that the market can return to greatness and we can make Google great again.
Why not?
That's, I just think it's a big risk right now.
And a shout out to John Manzoni. Gemini has been improved a lot recently. Maybe you can ask Gemini who's going to win the Final Four. I have no idea. And I wouldn't suggest that's the way that you place any bets.
There we go, Amazon.
By asking AI what's going to happen. Unless you can find an edge there. But hey, if you want to do so with top tier odds and total control, then ProfitX is going to be for you, everybody. Why? Because ProfitX, we running it? I can show the screen if you guys want. Because I actually have Auburn up right now. That's Intel. I got Auburn up right now, and I'm waiting for, and again, the thing about ProfitX is you can make a market, right? So you have API access, which I think is pretty valuable because you can essentially go in there and maybe arb against other books if you want to do things like that. You can have cost-efficient trading of the book. Now, obviously, as it gets closer to the event this weekend, you'll see a bigger book on something like this, on the national champion. One of 4 teams going to make it, anybody but Duke, because I don't like them. But it's basically like day trading. Like you make offers, you make bids, you can swipe the book, you can post hoping to get picked up at a good price, at good odds. So I think it makes a lot of sense for people who want a little bit more flexibility to be able to make their own price. And if you get it, you get it. It's fantastic. It's all in one place. And you've got, of course, all the major markets out there. I happen to be on CAA because that's what I'm into, guys. And don't forget, you can use the code TRADERTV to get a 2% cashback offer up to 3%. ProfitX is a smarter and faster way to play, everybody. So don't forget that code, TRADERTV. Sign up. The offer is 2% cash back and up to $300, and then you can trade in your bets. That's the best way to put it. It should make a lot of sense to everyone out there that is a trader.
You can get
I know the position board's not working right now.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shoot.
So 2 things. Oh, it's upgrading. It's getting upgraded. I did get into that Micron, and I'm still in Intel, but I'm trying to add to Intel. If I'm going to trail out at 22 and it's going to respect VWAP, I'm just going to short VWAP as well. So I think try to pick a particular spot. We like that price at 22. That's where we're shorting in the morning, essentially right in here in the high 90s. So we'll just try to grab that again. I'm sitting at 95. And then Micron came in, gave me 1 fill at 35. Was trying to get more closer to VWAP. It hasn't happened. I'm offering out in front of that higher low, which oddly enough, just like Intel, this resistance here is resistance from earlier in the day and yesterday's highs on Micron at 88.80. So both those levels are working for now. I did look over to Apple to see if that would show more strength, and it is. But it's not distinct enough from Micron. It doesn't really stand out. It's starting to hold that higher low at VWAP, but I'm not completely convinced that we're good to go on it. There was something else I wanted to look at. Oh, that's what it was.
What was that?
No, we were talking about the IPOs, and I showed that whatever that other one was, DMX. It was not,
WXM.
WXM, and I forgot to bring up
Newsmax.
Right?
That was the story.
Yeah, just for posterity, just so everyone can see it. Obviously, there was a great story to the upside, but look at it. It's looking pretty nasty. You're down 72%, and at $60, it's still up 6x from the issue price, and yet being down this much. That's all.
All right. Yeah, exactly. We just got some bangs going through right there as Intel. Huge win, man. 55 cents right now in the money as that continues to go lower. And then, yeah, Tia and everybody else that is like, what's going on with your Amazon trade? Money. Just a little bit of that right now as we go short on Amazon. Amazon now 40 cents in as we continue to go a little lower. We just shorted it there. We got that news about maybe their ad business there. plus the market's down. I mean, we were looking for shorts anyways. We had sort of emptied out of our Qs position. We're getting out of our Palantir position as well on the way down as we approach VWAP. So that's just still from here, like 5% left of that trade. TQs, we just got some more out right here at the 50-period moving average as well. So we are starting to get a little, I mean, we could be wrong. Let's get some more out on the Qs if we can right here, right now. But it's we're definitely not wrong about Amazon because this is the first trade that we've had on board today as it continues to go down. We are well positive today. Today's going to be a great day for me here as we've had some good trades and some bad trades. You only have one negative symbol today. It is still going to be the TQs because, again, we got too short there and then we got the problem with the Qs is we got stopped out right there. So we'll have to look. Today will probably put us negative on the week for the futures, so we're going to have to be careful with it. And it's just about being honest. I use, like, you heard Obi talk about this, and it's like when we're using bigger shares and, you know, I don't have, we can talk about it. It's, you know, when you're wrong and you get crushed and you just have to be right. And hopefully that when you're right, you do have a decent amount of shares still on board so that you can, you know, take advantage of these kind of moves, right? And unfortunately there on the futures, we did have a little bit too much there. We got wicked out right before it goes all the way to the, or stopped out right before it goes all the way to the upside, able to buy it back, but we never buy back as much because it's one of those moments and we just got to get better at that. And we talked about it, but our net is at the highest spot we've been at all day. And we want to thank Palantir for that. We want to thank this for that. I want to thank this for that. Right there on Intel, that was like, wow, right to the downside again. But there's a stop out right there as well. So we did get stopped out, bought it, sold it back in there to the downside. Tesla too, look, remember what we said? Look at the market, man. It hit VWAP. That was a good move down there, right there for Tesla, down to 278. So maybe if they're okay, position board still being upgraded, but we are, well, let's upgrade our net right now by just getting out right there. That is 50 cents right there in the money for Amazon. And this has been an easy one. I mean, I think that for those of you that are looking for trades, looking to sort of mimic or whatever, we did talk about this Amazon, why we liked it, what the risk was. And remember, I don't know if you guys heard me or not, but we were risking 20 cents. My stop is still there, breaking of 75s. On this trade. So we went short here at 60s, break of 75. So right now that was 20 cents. So right now we're 4-1. This is a trade that, again, we built out for you, talked about it, and there it goes. To the downside goes Amazon and really starting to bleed now. So 70 cents now in the money for Amazon, putting our day to the moon right here. Thankfully, anyways, this has been happening. TQs, we've been getting some out there. Okay, wow. All right, why don't we just, I mean, we're at VWAP. I feel a little silly dumping them all right now. We've already absorbed this all the way to the upside, some good outs. But yeah, we are falling like a rock right now. What is it? Chevy is like a rock? Well, right now the market is definitely falling back in like that Chevy rock. Like a rock? Yeah, I think it's Chevy, right?
You're right.
There it is, man. And it's Amazon now, almost $1. Here it is. Let's just get some pieces out here at 75. Okay, let's go. There's that club, Joe. There it is, man. I don't know how many of you have entered the dollar club today, but it's right here, right now on Amazon. And we just gave this trade to you guys. So again, you know, if you're in it, great. It has been a downside move. We are now an hour away from liquidation day happening, and we're going to wait to see if what exactly does wind up happening here as people getting liquidated a little bit right now down to the downside, especially if you're an Amazon long. There it is right now. So good on us for having this trade, but the trade's nowhere near over as we will wait heading into. Guess what's about to happen in 10 seconds? Let's see if Fabian's... No, Fabian has it set up. I want to see if it hits.
So it's
he said it was automated, right? The power hour?
Well, we'll find out
so here we go.
Seconds.
We're going to find out very, very soon. We are now entering the power hour. Oh, yeah. There it is. All right. So there it goes.
Does it stand out enough?
I don't know. Is there a noise to that? I didn't hear it.
It's sound effect.
I would like a whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, I'd love a sound effect.
Or something that just goes power.
Oh, we don't hear the sound.
Yeah, maybe I could say power hour, or you can find that online. Yeah.
Just have Sharif doing the flex. Although that's
no.
Fabian's no, sorry, Ramin was like
no. Ramin's like
Ramin
no.
No, it would be cool. Fabian, Ramin, if we could also hear that sound. I like it when we can hear the sound effects as well. That'd be cool. Just very quickly, we didn't Intel hasn't gone to VWAP because the market everything just came down. But another stock that I do like here, there was a story on Hims and Hers, by the way, just for everybody on Hims and Hers. So yesterday there was talk about Zepbound connection and going to be available. And then you had Eli Lilly come out and say, we have no actual exclusive deal. Any licensed practitioner, essentially can get you exempt bound. So it was nothing specific to
Liberation.
him. That had it go into the downside. Faded it off of the prior day close, which is 31, but now 30 is holding under VWAP. So I want a short continuation short, I think, here on HIMS underneath 30 if we can get it. We need that Mean Gene. That's a good one. And it's obvious that you would say that, Mean Gene. You need Macho Man Power Hour. May he rest in peace. Yeah, he passed away. Right? He did. Macho Man passed away.
No.
Macho Man? No, he didn't. Oh, I'm thinking Ultimate Warrior.
I think Ultimate Warrior might have.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking,
Now I'm a little bit confused.
No, I think it's Ultimate Warrior. I think I'm wrong. I think it's Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
But anyways, HIMS, I want to short into VWAP off of that 30. Bit of a continuation play after gapping down because they do not have any exclusivity with Eli Lilly's ZEP bound, which I like Eli Lilly. Like the 700 level on Eli Lilly. Don't like what's been happening on the daily chart. While we're here, because I'm waiting to get this fill. Eli Lilly here on the daily. I don't love what I'm seeing like recently on it, but 700's been a good spot. I reloaded there, but I had sold twice in the 900, so I was just buying some of it back at the 700 level and didn't sell the most recent time at 920, which I'm beginning to think was a mistake. But like if it gets above if it fails the 50 and 200 periods one more time, if it tests it and fails it, I think I'm going to be trimming that on the long term because that looks like a shelf which could be in a bit of trouble. And you know what's been going on with the GLPs, right? Like it's a very long bull flag from 700 to 950. If you put up a monthly chart might show it a little bit better than a day, or a weekly chart might show it better than that daily. But if it loses 700, I think it's in trouble. Do like it a heck of a lot more than like HIMS. I like them better than Nova Nordisk. Which I've taken to saying Nordisk instead of Nordisk.
Nova Nordisk. Okay, yeah, we have.
That's how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that's right. Okay, so we'll take advantage just really quickly here of the TQQ movement back to the upside right now, and it looks like that's going to be the right trade here as, we got some out again at 58, 59 and change right there as we went back up to the upside. We did take advantage, obviously, as we talked about it, with our love for Amazon as that made that move. We're almost out of Amazon. We're actually still holding 25%. That came right into 194.50, like 70s there. So we were talking about that dollar. Look at that retracement back up. So this is the kind of stuff that we continue to talk about here every day on the show. And that is like you never know where these moves are coming from because like that was a huge move down. The market was looking like it still wanted to go. Looked like we were going to test VWAP again. And then all of a sudden, WAP makes that move right back to the upside right there. So a good bunch of outs. We got a bunch out there as we went right back into that level. Remember we talked about sometimes getting stopped out at these levels, trying to figure out what levels exactly you're looking at, so on and so forth. Well, right there, that held beautifully at Amazon, 194.63s. Our best out on Amazon is just to have a quick little look there, 194.75. We also have a 78 and a 75. So those are the two outs that are down there right now. So we play in front of the quarters. We'll do that every day as we... Nobody says anymore. Yeah, all day, every day, right there. So we'll do that, and we'll just try to take some profits as we look to make a little bit more money here on the open market. There's only now, as we enter the hour of power, we enter the hour of power.
Just give us the button. Give me the button.
Kind of matches our shirts.
Give me the power. We don't usually wear the same style shirt.
No,
I noticed that earlier and I didn't say anything. But we have this like blue
so good, man.
sort of checkered thing going on. But Obi,
I like
always,
Obi's. Yeah, Obi
he has a
wins,
clean,
man.
like that clean look.
Look at this
very
guy.
well groomed.
Look at this guy.
I need a haircut, and I said it. I'm going to keep saying I need a haircut until I actually do it.
I need to borrow some of his hair. I mean, that's...
Well, I mean, I could take some too. The flow, Fabian's got the flow. Obviously, Obi's got the flow as well.
Yeah, Fabian, yeah. Can we just glue it on? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to...
Glue? Come
on. Yeah, glue won't
get that weave going.
Glow won't work.
No, you're not getting it. Ramin's not cutting her. She's not.
Yeah, man, I would. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Adara, maybe.
Adara?
If Adara came in completely buzzed one day, it wouldn't surprise me one bit, I think. Oh, get a wig. Okay, yeah. I mean, for charity, yeah. Yeah, see?
I mean, I would shave my head for charity, but I don't think it would be of any use
Adara
to
has
anybody.
no problems doing that. So we will, I mean, we could do Trader TV Gives Back. Oh, yesterday,
That's what I want to do. I should do, if I'm doing a 5K, I should do one, I do like a charity 5K for my first athletic event since tearing my Achilles.
So,
did we mention this morning?
no, that's why I'm here. Yeah, so I'm going to have to mention this immediately. I actually don't have it. Brendan, find us a picture. Someone sent me one yesterday on Instagram because we were a sponsor at Chefs for Change. The position board looks the same to me. Chefs for Change right there. This is our caterer. Won something there or was there. And again, we had sponsored this, the Trader TV Live. Our sponsorship logo is right beside Uber's on the sponsorship board. So I'm going to go find that for you. Trader TV Live gives back yesterday. Chefs for Change raising money. I believe it's for children in need of hunger, but I'm going to double check all of that. Anyways, charity event yesterday, Chefs for Change. There, you guys can Google that. And we are very, very proud sponsors of that particular event. And it was, again, sent to me by my cousin, actually, who was there and said, oh, my God, I see Trader TV Live here. Where are you? And I was not there. But, yeah, Chefs for Change there yesterday. So I want to thank everybody for your continued support of the show as we continue to give back. So that was really nice. And,
all about paying it forward everywhere that you can. And shout out to everyone that does that on the regular. And if you don't, you know, there's lots of ways that you can pay back.
Sure,
give to charity, you can spend time.
Anything.
It could be a soup kitchen, doesn't really matter. Volunteer, do whatever works for you. I think volunteering is fantastic.
Exactly.
And all kids should try to do it. Big shout out to the entire crew. There's a lot of positive words in the chat. So I want to shout out to everyone in the chat that's definitely feeling the good vibes from that. So appreciate it. As we are in a power hour, it is back up. Oh, that's right. They just put it back up. We have to take fills. Oh, this chart I can't zoom out. Wouldn't it be great if these wicks were real sometimes? I know Micron never went to 100. So we're trying to bounce off VWAP on Micron. I tried to pick some up off the 88. It bounced. Looking to still grab that 88.8. I did get into HIMS as well. So we grabbed short underneath 30 on HIMS. HIMS. We're going to get...
HIMS.
I think it's kind of obvious to see, like, when it broke VWAP, it bounced off 29.5. When it broke it again in the afternoon, it bounced off 29.5. So 31 top, 30 VWAP, 29.5. I mean, bidding in front of 29.5 should be relatively obvious here, especially given the fact that you're often in scalp mode. I shouldn't say always, because anyone can do whatever they want to do. But in the afternoon, with only 50 minutes left, you're in a little bit of more of a scalp mode. Even if something happens to be trending up or down, you want to make sure you're taking your profits in that name or whatever it is that you're trading. And for everyone in the chat, I'm seeing what I love about this. A few people have gotten it wrong and said different times for when we're going to get a tariff announcement. It is at 4 p.m. It is supposed to be exactly at 4 p.m. So we might go to the aftermarket show, the market recap, and immediately just start rapid fire like we're getting an economic number, or we can go to the market recap and have a slow churn of information and we're waiting around. Point is, we don't know. We're right there to grab it live. Some things I expect to move. As we were talking about earlier, you could have the home builders go. Remember, the auto tariffs aren't coming until the 4th anyways. And there was a comment about not seeing anything on pharma. This is going to be about the countries, I think, and any specific sectors. So he had already said the pharma tariffs weren't going to come yet. We'll see. You never really know what's going to happen, and that's why we'll be here live for you guys. So just short HIMS, still short Intel, which was from before, and still long Micron off of that support. And for everyone watching Tesla, it's not really moving that much anymore. I feel like you're getting a slight descent. It's an ascending wedge technically on this, but it's about to break the channel here on Tesla. So be very, very careful. Tesla, if anything, since this little top got made, it's threatening to break the trend line and maybe make a test of VWAP. I'll be looking for this little break of trend on Tesla for the short. You got it?
Yeah, so here it is right here. So I had some people messaging me yesterday. Here it is, Chefs for Change. It is for, children not that are in need of hunger, but that are hungry right there. So here we are right there. Trader TV Live. There's Uber, of course, Redpath, a big sugar company around here as one. Oh, there's Mint. Sobeys is here. Toronto Life, lots of different things there. So thank you so much, to Chefs for Change for putting this event on. There's Air Canada as well, as we were a sponsor of the event. And there it goes, man, video sponsor, so on and so forth. But it's Chefs for a Change. There we go. Oh, yeah. What the end result was 1.2 million raised yesterday. So we want to say thank you for there. It is all for one for all there. In Toronto, one in 4 children grow up in poverty right there. That is crazy stat, like for Toronto. 1 in 4 children grows up in poverty. So definitely for us, happy to sponsor that. We want to say a big shout out to Chefs for Change. And let us know when the next event is, and we'd love to hit that up as well. So, okay, that was that one. A little bit of, that's what we're doing over here. So I hope you guys can, charitable. It's tax season now. Well, I guess you have to. Now it would be for next tax year, but make.
Yeah, like it's and again, I don't know that you give because of taxes.
No, but
it's weird because I had this. I once said my stance on this, and then I said this years ago to a group of friends. I don't claim. I have philosophical reasons why I don't claim any charitable giving. I won't get into it, and I don't judge anybody that claims that. As a matter of fact, I think you probably should. I just personally don't think it's right, so I don't do it. But I don't at the end of the day, I have this other thing in a general sense. You do something good. Does it ultimately motives matter to a certain extent? But if people get helped. Cares, man.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that's great. If your reasons they matter, but at the end result, if it's a good charity, who gives a darn? So a shout out to that because you're absolutely right. That stat isn't. It's crazy that that's true in a city like Toronto, which, quite frankly, has a lot.
By far, it's the most wealthiest city in Canada.
Incredibly wealthy city, but like a lot of other places, obviously there's poverty everywhere. Just so back to the market for a quick second here. While the NASDAQ has been bouncing off this support, and we see the support of the NASDAQ kind of obvious on a 15-minute chart, as I said, you have this, it's kind of like a wedge pattern on Tesla, although it's really tight to this 284 top, and then you've got this trend line which is threatening to break down. So I think if we break the trend, I want to look for a short into VWAP. So eyeballing Tesla, still have that VWAP trade. Oh no, my NASDAQ chart kind of crashed. Still have that VWAP trade that we're working on HIMS, and then Micron, which is trying to bounce. And of course, as I say, hey, let's look for this trend break, it bounces off the trend line. So this is a condition where I need to see it break that trend and close underneath 280. If it does that, then I'll look for the reversion short at that point. We'll see what happens. Robert Smith, MSTR not moving, dancing sideways. I agree with you. We talk about IBIT a lot, and I said this afternoon I wouldn't look too much at IBIT. Still weak, relatively speaking, because you've been trending down on MSTR, but it's hard for MicroStrategy to move when you're not doing a heck of a lot in IBIT, and it's also trending back in.
Wow,
a little stronger,
Amazon.
Obviously, but not really doing a heck of a lot is Bitcoin this afternoon.
We just got a 20 fill, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised the market's
There we go.
not really doing anything right now, but we'll just go boom on Amazon there. Short 63s, out 22s right there. It did make a move back up. We did not want to reload it. We're fine with what we're doing. If the market bleeds the rest of the day, then so be it. We are now out completely of Palantir. It is by far number one stock here today. So we'll say what's up to Kathy. Maybe she was in there buying as well. What's up, Kathy Wood? Right there, huge trade for that. And again, just lucky that I wasn't sitting here, because if I was, I would have got a heck of a lot more out right into this area right here, like where we got out right there, because that was the past high. Fortunately enough, we came back, we got out at this recent high, then we just let it go. All the way until we got to that 88 mark, started taking more out, then realized the tides were turning and went short on that one. Wow, there goes Amazon right now breaking 195 again. We have gotten out of more of the futures here as we're trying to get below. If we do break, I'm going to get out of VWAP right now, 58.90s. Looks like we are getting close to breaking that. I got to clean up all my stops, but 58.89, this one might not even go out, so I have to double check it. You can't have multiple stops all doing the same thing on the same stock, because it just doesn't happen. You can't get stopped out more than once. So we're going to wait to see what winds up happening right now, and we're still all good with that play on the TQs as we wait to see Intel just getting crushed right now to the downside, and that's near lows as well. We might as well put another bid on that. Remember, we are, Ramin, in what hour? We are in power hour. Ramin, we are in power hour. We are in power hour?
And this is to my point. If I had the button, I would just
no power hour for you?
I'm just saying, I would hit the button. I would, exactly. They're going to give us the power, which makes all the sense in the world, so that I could.
We would like the power.
So I can hit a lot of things. Like I could do.
Hour.
Like I could do that, but that's not power hour. That's some Super Mario thing.
There it is.
My daughter's catching up to me on Mario Kart. Very discerning.
That's bad for you, man, because my 13-year-old that is a...
He's only 8. I should still be...
Right, that is a video game maven. He still gets dealt with by his old man in Mario Kart. In fact, we were actually playing Mario Kart last night.
Oh, nice.
And I was using... what's the Donkey Kong that has... He's the badass Donkey Kong. He has the... thank you, Ramin. He has the bandana. Not Diddy Kong, not the little one. There's like a big, tough, it's Donkey Kong, but he has on a red bandana and a...
I don't think I know. I'm not that...
It's called something.
There's too many characters now. Like
yeah, a white undershirt there. I was going to call it the wife something, but the white undershirt there he's wearing.
I don't know.
Anyways, Funky Kong, I think is what it is. And then my kid just uses his Mii. Like he has a Mii created for that. And we played actually 4 Grand Prix yesterday. That was a lot of fun, though. So we go back and forth.
She likes the battles a lot.
We go back and forth. Oh, we don't do the battles.
She's better
Funky
at the,
Kong, yeah.
I don't do the battles.
That's who
I don't like them. So I'm not very good at the battles in Mario Kart. Just one quick look. Obviously, I know the position board looks like it's up, but they're doing work on it.
Oh, it's not up.
It's not, like it's there, but it's not updating.
Yeah, Fabian, the position board is not working.
Yeah, so I just want to come back and maybe give a little bit of an update if we can.
Stop talking to Brendan.
Like I said, Jordan Hims underneath 30.
There's work to be done.
Got the bids out there.
I'm having this
But
Clementine.
you're pulling back into VWAP on Micron, and this is, I keep zooming way too far. So like underneath here, you have the breakout price this morning, and if you lose this, I think you're in trouble. So I want to look to see if we can bounce again off 87.9 and try to get money fills under VWAP if we can on that. But
there's the position board.
The short's working at this point. As I said, we got that Hims. I guess we're not, like, look, I missed the fill on Intel by a penny. So I'm going to move to 93 instead of 95. And you should always cancel the first offer and then put the other one in there. So if you get to VWAP, it's still time. There's still 40 minutes left in the day, which is enough time for one last pop and fade. But it reminds me just to have a cursory look a little bit early for the imbalances. There's nothing on the board.
I forgot about that.
Except for, it's only 315 or 318, whatever it is. So ADT, whatever the...
Oh, Amazon.
ADT, that can't actually be the...
You are a friend.
And ASX, over $1 million. Not terribly big. So looking to reload the short on Intel. We have the short on Hims, which is working down towards support. We shorted in front of 30. Support's at 29.5. It's already bounced there 3 times, so we're getting out there. Oh, and Tesla. See the position? Oh.
It's working.
Okay.
That's all I have. I don't know if it's working for you.
Yeah, no, that is right. But I swear I just looked and it wasn't working. So Tesla, and I don't know why this is not saving for me, because it's saved on my black chart. This trend line. So anyways, it broke the trend line and closed underneath. So I'm now short Tesla.
Always bet on black.
Well, it's weird. I think maybe it has something to do with the fact that it saves on this one. It's just I'm always having to redraw the trend line for you guys here. So it broke the trend line. I think it's pretty obvious. You got 28.5, you got 26.5 as a couple of spots where it's bounced before. So I want to make sure we're getting out in front of those levels. It is power hour, head to the downside. Those oranges were really good.
No, this Clementine's really good. I really hope this Clementine is not from the United States, because then it might cost us 25% more very, very soon. But this is
I said I thought mine didn't look that great. It was delicious. So gotta get your fruit.
There's another one right now. The props goes up. There goes Amazon, man. Another 70 cents. We in the money, baby. As we get out of the queues, we do all that, and we have Intel going to the downside. Oh boy, we're starting to get excited here with only 40 minutes left until we figure out what exactly Liberation Day is all about. Right now, I don't feel that liberated. The market's flat. Yeah. So I just feel thrilled to be able to trade with you guys all day, and very, very thrilled to hear what Adara has to say.
related news story, but it's actually not about the tariffs. It's about TikTok. The information reporting that Donald Trump and his team are going to unveil this, quote, TikTok America plan. Apparently, the proposal would lead to the creation of a new U.S.-based entity that's about half owned by American investors. And then they're going to license the ByteDance algorithm and leave ByteDance with a 20% stake, or actually just under 20%, about 19.9% stake. Again, compliant with the 20% cap set by last year's sell or ban law. So apparently Donald Trump may consider this a qualified divestiture. They have about 90 to 120 days to close the deal. So again, apparently Trump is going to unveil this TikTok America plan. Buyers announced today, potentially in talks for TikTok, include AMZN, Microsoft, and Amazon and AAPL both moved on the catalyst. Back to you.
Will just stay in the United States now, it seems like, if they can get that.
He's the biggest TikTok fan that I know.
Yeah.
I don't look, obviously there's tons of people that love TikTok.
He's the biggest 40-year-old TikTok fan you know, probably.
No, I don't know any. I just don't know many people who are really, really into it.
Yeah, he is very much into it. And to each their own. I mean, all social media is very, very similar.
I think everyone look through something. When we're talking about the different AI that people use to search or whatnot, I'll tell you right now, it's like whatever I happen to be on. Like a lot on my phone, I have Gemini on my phone, I have Perplexity on my phone, but I could just be in WhatsApp talking to somebody, and if something comes up, well, I'll just go in there and use Metas because I'm already in WhatsApp. So I'm sitting here at the desk.
I think that's what they want.
Yeah, like I have ChatGPT up because I'm sitting here at work, so I'll use that. So I just feel like everybody needs to have a piece of that pie. Like everyone needs to have. I'm talking about the big names. Like as long as you're in the game, I think you're okay. But people are concerned about Google's dominance or Alphabet's dominance because of that.
Oh, there goes Amazon.
Google is actually weak on the day as well. So what just came out? Oh, never mind. That's not. I just got filled in bio.
Oh, right.
No, so HIMS, we got first profit, second profit at 29.5. Tesla as well. And I do have. What?
Huh?
And there was this other wick on Micron. So it broke VWAP, but then held that support at 87.8. So that was the condition to try to add to it. So that little wick bottom. And I'm going to get more in front. My stop has not moved. It's still underneath 87.90-ish. I mean, I don't put it at 89, but you can probably guess. It's above 80 and it's under 90. So if we get out of Micron, that's the only long we have on. HIMS, Intel, Tesla, do the sell. Well, you guys can see the position board. It's now working. The other thing, I'm glad that we didn't mess around with Apple too much, but it's making a little bit of an effort. The reason I'm going to continue to watch Apple is imbalances at the end of the day. I feel like Apple's been one that's run pretty decently. NVIDIA's been one that's run pretty decently. So at 350, that's where I want my eyeballs to be. Over there on those two particular names. See if they have an imbalance. You never really know. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But that's what it's all about. So Tesla trend break, we're into that. Still shorting HIMS. We never reloaded Intel, even though it did hold VWAP. That's the one that I didn't get the fill on. But I'm still sitting there. I'll probably cancel this and just not add to Intel. If we get to like 340 and we still haven't gotten a fill, then there's no point. We'll just work away from it.
Was that a call for Adara a while ago?
I thought maybe.
No, okay, good. So we didn't miss her. So all right, 2185, we're getting some more out there on Intel. Like we said, man, we have a couple bullets, to keep firing here on that. So we'll get some more outs. Our best outs have been right here. It's dripped into 80s, but hasn't really broke that level for Intel. So let's check out what other names are moving around. What about Newsmax right here into the close? Newsmax, wow, down 75%. So we sort of talked about this. Remember we said that if 110, I mean, I don't, it's easy to say, like, we talked about this earlier today, and I said, like, if 110 breaks, then what is below that? Well, apparently nothing. So there's 110, and since then, it's been chopped in half from there. Down 75% right now is Newsmax, as we thought that this would definitely happen, as there's no way it was properly valued all the way up there when it came to market at $14, and then made that move up to $2.80, and now, whoops, all the way back down. So this is what winds up happening. We tell you only one group makes money, those that can hold it. The rich get richer on Newsmax, just like how the public actually winds up losing on all that GameStop action. and Citadel reports record revenues. So it's just like, you never know what's going to happen to a lot of these plays as we all get excited. Like there's a lot of people probably caught long on Newsmax, didn't understand or even did understand the risks and then just didn't want to punch out.
Or that's the thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd say 90% of the people that are in there know what they're doing. It's that 10% that lose everything. And then there it goes right now. GameStop as well also had that offering dropped on them, which is part of a lot of stories, right? I mean, you get a lot of stock doing very, very similar things. Just sucks that it's GameStop because there's a lot of people that were excited about the recent earnings, and now they drop down on that offering, looking to buy up some Bitcoin.
A lot of people that buy, someone just said, who actually buys Newsmax at like 250 or whatever that price is? Remember, there's a lot of day traders just getting blown out that are shorting it. So a lot of that liquidity to the top isn't people buying in at the top. That's just Tesla again, NMAX. Like really, you have to remember, there are people that are so convinced that today is going to happen that they're just loading into the short. But as we said, as a day trader, it needs to work that day. We weren't trying it because you couldn't hold it overnight. Like if you shorted into 280, congratulations. But we couldn't hold that trade. If you did, you would just be holding it all day long today and just chilling out in the money. But there's people that are trying that as a day trader. They're like, oh, I'm short here off the prior high, stopped out. I'm short here, stopped out. So you're short here, stopped out. There's lots of people that do that as a strategy. And I think the idea would be, if you have a strategy that works for that, understand that as a day trader, you'll never see that second part of it. Like you only get today if you participate really, really early on all the pops. They say short the pops, that's what they mean. And I could pull up WTF as well, like what the heck's up with that? And not what the heck. That was that. There was a bunch. Oh, it got destroyed. WTF was in a lot of ways worse. Tesla's working its way back up. It did break that trend, but if it breaks the prior bar high, I'm getting out of that thing. If I didn't already say that. WTF in some ways was worse, because it just kept halting at the open. I know it's down 61%, but it was complete and utter disaster. Like you couldn't get out. If you were long this, you were in a lot of trouble. Like sometimes you can get out, sometimes you have trouble finding liquidity unless you use market on open orders and just get out on, in the open after the next halt. There was one upward halt in that move down, reminiscent of GameStop that one day. There was that one morning where people, like that liquidation morning on GameStop. That was a great day, by the way. For traders, that was a great day because the bottom was obvious. But just quickly, I did reload HIMS at VWAP. We got first target, reloaded at 30. I'm out at 30.10. So HIMS, best shorts were up at yesterday's resistance up here where we closed. But we took a shot at it at VWAP, worked the first time, not the second. I'm not going to take a third shot at this at 3:30. We're just going to stick with, Tesla's working, Intel's working, Micron's bouncing. So far, so good. Not going to be fighting one that showed it's no longer working off of my level. Charlie Taff, Tesla 50 EMA bounce.
We have a half hour left. Yeah, Tesla should be a good one. My wife tweeted out this one, so I want to say a big happy anniversary to her. I didn't show this on the show yet. It's funny that outside today was snowing. And you could probably tell we were a little bit cold when this was happening, but it was a much nicer day on our wedding day. So a shout out to you, Marisa. Thank you so much for all of that. We're hearing more. Oh, there's the one that I showed there as well earlier. So shout out to everybody right now. Yesterday was really cool being at basketball with my son. He was loving that yesterday. It was about 70 or 80 kids there doing some stuff. Here's what we showed you yesterday as well with alpha trends. There's Ethereum down 45% year to date. This was before today, but this is actually month end. So this would be as of March 31st. So some of these numbers
my physio guy
have changed a lot. Yeah, shout out to Neil's physio guy.
He said, well, the first conversation we had about the market, he's big into crypto, and the first thing he said was, Ethereum stinks.
And he bought Solana instead.
What's that? I converted some of it to Solana, but the rest into Bitcoin. So it's a win.
Yeah, it's a win. I mean, Solana might be down more than 45%. We'll double check on that, but I don't think so for the quarter. I don't know.
It's not worse. It doesn't matter. I put more than half of it into Bitcoin.
Right.
Which,
yeah.
Look, my crypto holding.
You? I thought it was your guy. Oh,
no,
he just mentioned it.
We were talking about it. He's like, what do you have? I go, almost all of it's in Bitcoin, but I go in my Coinbase account, I do have a bunch of other stuff that I just kind of got into because I was invested in Coinbase. I wanted to try it out, so I put some money in there, and that's what I started going into some altcoins. And most of it was ETH, because my Bitcoin I held in either in
There goes Amazon.
wallet, but also in the ETF. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I put some ETH in there. I had some Doge, not a lot, and I had some. I think I had some Cardano because you were talking about it. I just wanted to try out trading in it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I held on to the ETH, and he's like, what are you doing with that? And I converted to Bitcoin. This is like a year ago, like 60% of it. Just one quick note here, everybody. The market, it's 3:30 right now,
Must have
so
been
30
something on
minutes left to
Amazon
go.
there.
No, the market just got to the NASDAQ, I should say, or the ES, I should say, not the NASDAQ, because get my NASDAQ chart back up again. Sorry, guys. The ES goes right from support right into the afternoon resistance. So it just pops into the afternoon resistance at 5,700 on the ES. So I think that's a good spot. Didn't get that fill on the bid of Micron. If we're not going to go any further, maybe I should just be offering out in here and see if we can't get the out in front of 60. And then similarly in the other direction, if now we don't drop bigger on Tesla after hitting that local top, well, then maybe we're not dropping any further. I'm not reloading it another time. It looks like we're just a little bit range bound there. And Intel, it's running out of time to get that filled. Just did it again. When I was at 95, it stopped at 95. And when I moved to 93, it stopped at 93 and didn't fill. The thing is, you can see a candle up there, but if you're passively resting on an order, it needs to fill the level to get the fill. So I'm not getting traded through or anything. It's not actually hitting the offer when it gets to that price, but I'm still on the offer of Intel. And if we break out above VWAP, I'm getting out of that one. Same way as HIMS. We don't mind reloading it, but we're not going to fight it if it breaks out.
Right.
Did you just say something else about Amazon again?
I wanted to say, we got stopped out a while ago on Amazon. Amazon was huge. We didn't even have that many shares left as we just kept on getting out down there, and there it goes breaking out for evens or for 75s as it does break higher. So yeah, there it goes, Amazon. Just wanted to say that we were, thanks for bringing, I know you didn't bring it up for that reason, but.
I didn't hear what he said. I heard news and I didn't catch it.
Neither did I. So that's what I was trying to say. I'm not sure exactly what that news is. Okay.
Quick little movie.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was actually just checking to see if it hit the wire, what I was hearing in my ear. And so we do listen the same way Adara has news. Anytime I hear something, but I'm talking, it's a little bit difficult to pick up exactly what it was. It's a little different if I wasn't speaking in the same moment. But no reload on Tesla. As I said, the futures got to that top, that local top. I just prefer the NASDAQ, so I got my NASDAQ chart back up, everybody. So NASDAQ breaking that local high, so no reload on Tesla. Scalp trade on the trend break, but there wasn't any follow through. I did get Intel under VWAP finally. So it gave me the fill. It hasn't really broken out yet, but it's very close to. So the range is only about 15 pennies to that low, which means every 5 cents I'm covering on the way to the downside here on INTC. And I took the out on Micron at resistance. So kind of obvious to tell. You had resistance where this crazy wick that took us into VWAP happened at about 88.6. So it just jumped out of there, just playing inside of the range. Hertz Scrambler, is Meta going to VWAP? Maybe. I think Meta is still relatively weak. I'm not trading this one on the long side. Like Micron, I might get back into that. If Tesla takes out the top, it could go mean crazy, but this close to the imbalances, I'm usually thinking Apple or NVIDIA, because those are the ones that tend to run and run the best in that last 15 to 20 minutes, especially if you get the 8 of an imbalance behind you. So I'm going to transition to those two at this time of day, with the exception of still being Intel reloaded off the.
All right, we just took some more out there at 95 on Intel. Speak of the devil there, because it's the only position we have left, and I'm pretty happy to do that. So let's start talking about some other names, guys. Right now, let's look at some Core Wave or D-Wave. Right now, I want to look at Core Weave. Actually, there we go. I made another name. Okay, QBTS downside today. We're only down 1%, near the lows, not doing too much right now. Core Weave, WCRWV. This is a name that we nailed yesterday at this time of day, man. It was about now when we broke through $50 yesterday. It had a nice move today as well. Continuation from that move in the afternoon. There's where it broke 50 yesterday. We were waiting for it to happen. We were watching it go, and then it was just like, wow, we kept on missing all the levels. Not missing pricing them. We just didn't trade off them. That 46.50 right there was a great level. Didn't hit it, came back in, ripped up, and then we just waited for 50. It actually false broke at 50. And I mean, it broke, but then came right back. Where was this 50 here? No, it was right here. So there it is there. There's the initial break. So we did have that. I don't know if we got stopped out. I think we did for 50 cents. Goes all the way down to 49. Then we saw again, just waiting for something. We saw that little wick and then blasted it to the upside once it next broke 50. So we're like, sometimes we get that break, fade, and then boom. So once it went the second time, we're able to get it. So this is how come it's been my number. We didn't trade it today. Number one stock today by far, like I told you, is Palantir. But at the end of the day, this break right there, this is what's been happening to many names. It breaks, comes back, then starts to go. So we've seen that also with Tesla, Palantir, all of that where, you know, it's that first little move up, not followed up with too much volume upside. It doesn't continue. People get scared. It goes rinse to the downside. There goes CoreWeave cooking right there to the upside. Amazon, wow, great outs and great move as Amazon and the futures just go chugga chugga choo choo upside right now for the market, man.
Newsmax is halted low of day.
Your Newsmax got halted low of day. And if you needed to say, okay, I wasn't sure where the low of day was, then you could open up a charting platform. And the one that I would open up would be eSignal. So make sure you do, I mean, it's the only one I use other than the one that we have right in front of you. eSignal, the best charting platform around, also the most reliable and the most quoted. I mean, you can get quotes for any single exchange you wish. There's also level 2s available. They do show the imbalance locator as well. They have tick replay. You can go back same day, same second and look at what was happening 5 minutes ago on Amazon. You could replay that back. You could line up your indicators, your lines of resistance, anything like that. Go ahead, back test. Also has API integration. And the best part about it is we've partnered up with eSignal to give you the first month free. So make sure you do scan that QR code. Let us know how it is. If you like it, great. If you don't, then scram and find something else because there's lots available. TradingView, Trade Ideas. Our P Pro 8 platform is what it is for trading. Doesn't have any back testing or anything like that. Newsmax on watch right now?
It's just because it's...
halted.
Yeah, halted at 46.52. And someone in the chat just asked, where do you think is a good level for Newsmax to buy a dip? That's what do you even say to that? All I can say to you is, well, look where it came from. And if it goes all the way to the bottom, that's 13. Where volume came in, this is right about here. It's tough to see. It's like about $26. So you had a little gap from like 20 to 26 after the initial halt where volume sort of picked up in the middle of the day that first day. But all you're doing is grasping at straws and guessing. Let it consolidate. If it shows you a consolidation off those levels where suddenly your risk to reward is reasonable, yeah, maybe it's worth a shot. But this is the back end of the trade. It's the nasty end of the trade here. And someone asked me this morning, yeah, that's correct, Bigfoot, what the locates were like. I haven't double checked, but here at Real Trading, we did have the ability to short it. You just had to put in a request, $96 for 100 shares, which I know that sounds like a lot, but hindsight being 2020, because it always is, look at the drop. So just think about this off of VWAP. Like if you're taking this off VWAP at 155, well, your risk at minimum is to 161. That's $6 worth of risk, or possibly up to 67, where you're risking 12 bucks. So that's what you'd be risking on just a technical trade on this. Adding another $1 to that is not that big of a deal. Relative to its price and how much it could drop, that wasn't a bad price for locates. But that's all in hindsight. What are they saying about CoreWeave now?
CoreWeave's going nuts right now. Apparently, Google is in talks to rent more GPUs from CoreWeave.
Oh boy.
So, all right, man. The AI race is on like Donkey Kong right now. Funky Kong, actually. As CoreWeave says, okay, look at that. Look at that stack. You see that stack at 61, man? Numerous people all using the same strategy, and that is you can't see me with John Cena as they all go ones across the board. Stack. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all of these exchanges all just stacking that bid, waiting for you. tempting you to break them, and down they go, and then instantly down 50 cents right there. Does it get bought back up now? CoreWeave. And I think that was a great example just to show you what goes on in this market, and that was pretty easy to see, where you just had a bunch of bids there stacked, all different gateways. That could have been one trader or one prop floor or firm or somebody just trying to hold up the bid, and then once they got whacked, they took down every single exchange there, market order or something down to the downside as they hit that for CoreWeave. And again, like, that's a big story. Those are the stories that we're looking for. A brand new name to the market just hit on our ear that Google looking to, and again, you know, I don't expect anything to happen here. Maybe NVIDIA. It was CoreWeave.
It's good for NVIDIA because NVIDIA still
That's what I was going to have a look to see.
50 million, I think they invested.
Yeah, but it was, well, yeah, for that part for sure. But I was going to say that, like, NVIDIA's down nearly 20%. They're bare year to date, right? So NVIDIA, just like Meta, just like all these names. But again, if Google's going to continue on their CapEx spend, it doesn't really matter that they're going to use CoreWeave. I think that's great for CoreWeave, but maybe it does hold out that, hey, there is some more need for more computing power and the like. So we'll see what that exactly does mean for NVIDIA, Google, and CoreWeave. But CoreWeave right now just doing that little bit of a dance. So there's Google not doing much, CRWV. And we will go to Adara just to check this out. So there it is. There's the nice move up. And you can see when that story hit, right? Some nice increased volume around 5. Seems like we're a little bit late on that. 532 is when it started to go upside there with big volume. So what's up, Adara?
Someone knew before because the biggest volume.
It did start going on 532.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, 532. 332, because that is when the story was actually published by The Information. Social media didn't start really getting it until a couple minutes after that. But again, just to recap, apparently Google is in advanced talks to rent NVIDIA servers from CoreWeave. I'm looking into this story to see the extent to which CoreWeave is already involved with Google and or NVIDIA. I have not found much yet, but I'm going to continue to look into that because it's always interesting to see the scope of a story or how new this is for Google, how much it could be affected. Also, I am proud to announce that the Bloomberg television stream for the Trump tariff announcement is now open. Now, it is worth noting, it has not gone live yet. Trump has not begun talking, but the stream is now clickable. It's now live on YouTube, as it were, set to start in about 18 minutes when Trump is set to begin his speech. So we're going to send it back to you.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind for CoreWeave is, remember, they downsized the offering, so it was a very small portion of the company that even went public. So it was a limited amount of shares, and obviously NVIDIA's never selling their shares, and there's going to be a lot of holders that are not selling. So you have that pressure mechanically of there not being a lot of availability for look-ins. We always talk about what?
Keep going, but I was just wanting to say, like,
I'm surprised because I'm in my head. If you had told me that NVIDIA was breaking out with the CoreWeave thing, I would have believed it, or it would have made more sense. But Tesla breaking high of the day. But just to finish that thought, so it's like ARM. ARM had they had no shares available, or low amount of shares available in ARM. What the heck just happened?
I know we don't want to interrupt you, but Tesla
Tesla just ran 284 and is back at 280.
Run this town.
This has got to be a short to pop.
I don't know what Tesla.
What is going on with Tesla right now?
We're going to hear in 2 seconds here. News from Israel. Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Okay, it's not great. There has been some sort of an attack. We're just hearing right now, but I don't know if the market's not really reacting to that. We're hearing it from Reuters, something about Israel and Syria, but I don't mean to brush it off. It's just that's not the news that we were looking for.
Yeah, Tesla has nothing to do with that.
Right. So, we'll obviously hope that if that story is true from Reuters, that everybody's okay. But at the end of the day, there it is. I'll just read to you what we see here because it's just the news, and I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. Israel military is attacked. Israel military confirms it attacked Syrian military bases, along with other infrastructures in Damascus. So again, it looks like it's not going to be great news for the world there, but that stuff is not settled. So as we continue to go on there, and we'll wait to hear. I don't know what I'm just trying to close this news thing here so I can reframe it, but there it goes. So nothing to do on Tesla there. We do feel for that part.
That's unfortunate.
All right, we'll wait to see what winds up happening there, but we are just minutes away, man. T-Day, Liberation Day, Liquidation Day, Tariff Talk Tuesday, even though it's Wednesday. It's going to be a good one. Wait for us on the close. Don't wait anywhere. I mean, watch it, listen to these guys. Adara and Neil on the market recap show, Tariff Talk, all afternoon. we've been doing a little bit of that. I just don't really know what to think about the tariffs, what kind of action will eventually, where that will affect. We can look at very many car companies maybe moving around. Ford up today, GM up today, I believe if Ford is. There it is right now. Okay, let's go back to Adara.
Called BS.
Here's the reason for the drop in Tesla specifically beyond reports of more geopolitical tensions in Israel. It's worth noting here, TSLA, apparently Elon Musk said fake news to the story reported by Politico that he's going to be stepping back from his role in the Trump administration as a leader of DOGE. Again, to recap, Politico reported that Elon Musk would be, quote, stepping back within the administration, though he would still be an active role in the White House. You would see him around the White House. He would serve as an advisor of some kind. Elon Musk saying, though that's not true, he's going to stay on at DOGE. It's worth noting this little drop we had earlier, too, came when Caroline Leavitt, who is the White House press secretary, said basically something similar, that the Politico story was incorrect and, quote, garbage. Back to you.
No wonder why. You see the Tesla's chart? It's like, no wonder it's like this, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up, it's down, it's around. Like, I feel like really.
Not leaving.
Yeah, right now, wait on that. So,
yeah. And then after market tonight,
just Intel left.
You know the tariffs are affecting the broad market. You know that just the association with any effect on tariffs can possibly drag down Tesla from a sentiment standpoint. So it's up 5 points today, and it's all looking well and good right now, but a lot can change very quickly for Tesla, especially in the next 15 minutes, which we're going to have live for you. I'll be joining Adara at the desk shortly. But I reloaded Intel. It didn't matter that my average price was better than 22. It's because I still had some shares from the top. We reloaded off VWAP. Like, it's a fail off of the VWAP level. But the idea being, there's a phrase I like, it's okay to be wrong, just don't stay wrong. Like, Intel's had great shortable levels, and it's been a good stock to be short because it looks like this on the daily chart. At some point, I suspect this trend is going to reverse. My best guess is where it has in the past, at $19. So as long as it holds the trend down, and as long as we're not at $19 or really, really close to it, I come in looking for an opportunity, I think, to short this name. And when it gets to 19, we'll probably be looking for reversals, because let big money tell you where they have stopped giving up on Intel and started to look for the buying. It's pretty obvious. Like, Intel did this at 25 before all this nonsense happened, and now it's doing it at 19. So why buy any other price on this stock until it actually breaks this nasty downtrend that it is in? And I'm not saying anything bad against the new CEO. Maybe he's going to be able to turn this one around. But I thought that in the past about Pat Gelsinger, and then he still didn't get the job done. Let's leave it.
Right.
I was trying to think of what's the best way to. Yeah, didn't get the job.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, he didn't get the job done. Yeah, he did not. Okay, so yeah, bye, Pat. Look, Tesla's trading like there's index action or something on this. Like, it's just, there's a lot of volume, so much volume, the greatest volume going through right now on Tesla. As it's just like, it's not doing anything, but the volume, just looking at the level two. I mean, we've sat here and looked at many different level twos. Many different level twos throughout our times. And
best level two.
You could just, the best and the most active level twos of all time we've been looking at. And you could just see here Tesla up and down. Look at these wicks, man. Can't make up its own mind. So I would say definitely right now, if you're in this name, it looks like the market wants to like it, this news, because Tesla just ran the highs of the day. But it's not, doesn't seem to be anything super exciting happening right now on Tesla other than a crap ton of volume. These are the imbalances. I have them all ready to go. So these are as of 9:30. So I'm not seeing any broker fills right now. So we're going to wait for 350 to hit, and then we'll go over that. So right now, there go. Look, we zoom back out on Tesla just to show you. It is trying to get back to the upside right now. I like the long better. The long seems like it's better, but for right now, I would say wait for the imbalances. As again, tariffs, man, we are now just 10 minutes away until we do find out exactly what's going to get hit on tariff talk. Is it going to be your SMHs? Is it? And again, when we talk about SMH, we're talking about the semis, right? I mean, what are we going to hear? Are we going to hear that there's some sort of a tariff coming on all imports from China? And if so, what does that mean here? What does that mean for the different car companies, Chinese car companies? What does that mean And that's just China. There's so many different avenues. You could look at dollar stores there, some of the Walmarts of the world.
Retailers.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that's being sold there. And then we also we want to hear about the cars. Like, what are those tariffs? Is it that it's assembled here in the United States or in Canada? Will those be okay? Or where are the parts coming from? So lots to happen here in the next little bit. Let's wait for Tesla. We do now have 10 secondes until we see what is going on with these tariffs, with these imbalances. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go. All right, so now we are now out. Looks like Cisco buy, T buy.
Palantir.
Whoa, 87 and change for Alex Karp with a C or a K, depending on what type of day it is there, you're feeling there. But right now, not much on here, Neil. So I guess people waiting. We've seen millions and millions.
No Nvidia, no Apple.
Millions and
no Tesla.
millions. Look, Donald, make the imbalances great again. Hopefully they will be something there. With minutes to go, man.
They were okay the other day. But those are disappointing. Cisco, that doesn't matter. Palantir is the only one that kind of is okay at 1 million shares to buy because it's done 11 million. Oh, that's right. I click automatically. If you're at real trading, see how I accidentally clicked on Cisco on my level 2. All of a sudden I'm looking at Cisco. I click on Palantir. It's back to Palantir.
You can change that.
No, I want that.
Yeah,
it's just, I actually, it was a misclick. I meant to stay on Palantir. I went to Cisco. No, with Palantir, it's not that big of a move. Usually my first thought of it's not a gigantic imbalance. At 355, I know it's a New York or NASDAQ stock now, but still at 355, you get a lot of updates, and sometimes they pair off. So if Palantir at 1 million to buy, and it's done 82 million shares done. That's why 1 million is not that much. If it happens to be anywhere near the top, I'd look to short the top before somewhere at like 354 if you can get it with a stop at the high. And if the imbalance pairs off, you get that little flush because buy imbalance turns to sell or buy imbalance turns into nothing. That's how I'd like to use it. It's almost like lately it's been a free roll because I've done it twice in the times that in the last couple of weeks. And when it doesn't work, easy out flat. Like it hasn't been running the top. It happened on Apple, and I was able to get out for like a 1 or 2 cent win, and it didn't even flip in my direction. It just couldn't go any higher because you were into resistance. That's what I'm watching here on Palantir, into 355, and only 8 minutes to go. And then we get our Liberation Day, Tariff Day, all the announcements live for you. I'll be with Adara. We'll see what happens. Not making any predictions one way or another. I don't know what's in the mind of the president or how it's going to be laid out. Is it going to be some people get 10% and other people get 20%? We're going to find out. And believe me, we're Canadians, so it matters to us a lot.
Yeah, we're excited for it to see what happens. I mean, it's going to be a push and pull at the end of the day, so it doesn't really.
I don't want a recession.
Well, yeah, I don't know if tariffs are going to spark that or not. I mean, the business is not great right now. As we'll wait to see, rates. Rates are fine right now. I'm more important, honestly. I'm more nervous about Friday's non-jobs, non-payroll,
non-farm payroll
payrolls, the jobs number coming through on Friday. To me, that's going to tell the story. So not much on here. I mean, I just went over to AT&T, not doing anything. HPE, Palantir. Oh, there's Rivian. Rivian with a big day today, right? No. It was big day yesterday, big day the other way today. Down 6 points there, 6% on Rivian. Okay, we did get out of pretty much all, well, I thought we got out of it all. It looks like we still have, wow, CoreWeave. 364. As CoreWeave right now just continues to weave and wind right now back to its day's high of 65. Yeah, I mean, isn't everyone smart?
Every now and then.
The decision goes that way. But
every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then. I mean, the thing is that this could be her also buying it right now. So buying it from yesterday is one thing. We do have Restoration Hardware after hours RH. You could look out for that one. Yeah, what's up, God? God Almighty there. Yeah, Governor of Canada. Yeah, that would be something there. I would gladly take that. But I think we're okay with Mark Carney. I don't know. I actually meant to check ProfitX if they do have government, if you can bet, because I know some sites do have it. You know what I was actually looking
they're just sports from what I can.
Poly Market, right? So hold on a second.
Just sports.
Yeah.
Just sports.
Just sports, okay. I did actually see on there, you can actually, on ProfitX, I did see that you could bet who was the first to die on White Lotus. Okay, just quickly here. This is where it is. Here it is. Who is the next prime minister?
Dies? I haven't seen it.
Okay, you have seen any White Lotuses?
No, I'm doing.
Well, then you don't know the story, man. Someone dies every season. My
Oh,
God.
that's not a big deal.
Okay, so there it is. Mark Carney right now. The
70%,
Carney man
eh?
himself, 70% right now. So get out your Carney hats and get ready to go because there it is, man. It's going to be liberal, Brankles, so you better get ready for that one. It might not even be that close. 70-30 right now, the polls. We all saw the polls a couple years ago when Hillary was dancing in the streets thinking that it was a wrap, and then we saw what was happening from there. So, all right, that's a little look there. We shall be liberal come April 28th for another 4 years, according to the markets. What up, Adara?
We're going to thank our friends at Trade the Pool in just a second, but in case you missed it, we had a lot of news today with regards to TikTok. Will TikTok stay in the US? What company has been bidding for it? I just shared a post on X at TTV Research summarizing all of the many companies and catalysts involved with this story today. So check that out on X at TTV Research. But in the meantime, check out our friends at Trade the Pool. We all know the saying, big opportunity comes with big risk. But wasn't true anymore. Trade the Pool is redefining what risk means for traders. No more risking your life savings to prove yourself in the market. They give you access to company capital, up to $200,000 to trade real stocks, no CFDs, and your downside is limited to just a single one-time fee that starts at just $47. Now that means no blowing up your personal account. You get to trade with serious buying power, all while knowing your loss is capped. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited time during the evaluation, so you get the freedom to trade your way with no time pressure. Visit tradethepool.com and see how far your $47 can take you. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you very much, Adara. NVIDIA,
4 minutes.
Slight buy, 800,000. Went from a small number to a small buy. Not huge. I mean, less than 1 million shares isn't going to move it much. As you can see there, like what did it pop? Like 15 cents? That's the thing. If it had been if it flips to like 3 million or something like that, you probably see NVIDIA push toward the high of the day. That's not enough to do much of anything. I can tell you this has been a big runner. Obviously, Tesla going to be in play. Actually right back into the highs after that clarification. Let's just call it a clarification by Elon. And then CoreWeave. That's the big winner this afternoon is going to be CoreWeave for sure. I don't think that's a name that we'll care too much about for the announcements coming with tariffs. But as far as looking toward tomorrow for things to trade, the way CoreWeave has been running, you can't ignore it whatsoever. So Tesla, I think that's very much in play. We'll look at some of the Chinese names, the autos, all in just a couple of minutes as we are going to have what I expect to be a wild market recap show where we'll be in rapid fashion. Just whatever information we get, we'll give it to you, and we'll see the reaction in any stocks that happen to be moving in the overall market, of course, as well. Just to clear some things up, remember that down halt in Newsmax? Maybe that was the bottom. I don't know. You bounce 15, 20% in this thing, and it's not putting a dent in the moves. Remember, Newsmax was at $200 and whatever yesterday, catching a very, very small bid. 20% doesn't look like much on that chart, but it did reopen, and it's trying to get back to the top. But that's yesterday's story. The tariffs, Sean, are tonight's story. And I got to get up to the desk. We're locked and loaded to get in. It's going to be a fun one for sure. Hopefully, it's not market destruction, but you never know what's going to happen. Yeah, good luck with that one. So in less than 2 minutes, you'll be joining Neil and Adara on the big desk there as they review everything that will be coming from the... It's called the Rose Garden, right? I believe where he's doing it from. So that should be interesting there. And Tesla going out at the day's high. So congratulations, anybody that's in the Tesla trade there. I don't know if Sharif bought or I think he was trying to lease it or finance it. Lease it, I think. The Cybertruck, but right there, shout out to Sharif getting some time off this week. Well deserved, of course. 284 right there for Tesla. I mean, our viewership is starting to ramp up, so, make sure that you do stay here. 7,000 of you are joining us. We want to say thank you to everybody. If you haven't hit the like button, please do it immediately, as you can see here. We only have on this feed right now 667 likes, so hit the like and the subscribe. And join us here tomorrow as we will definitely be here.
Hey traders, I hope you're enjoying the stream. Make sure to like, subscribe, even share. Plus, go follow us on our socials.
All right, good one. We have a better one. Fabian, Andre made one earlier today. I actually like it. So, well, thank you for that one anyways. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow us all on our socials. We all got them. Wow, Tesla's really starting to go up with only 30 seconds left right now. CoreWeave back down to 61 and change as that one's falling back in a little bit from 64. Did NMAX open back up yet or not? NMAX right here is $53. All right, let's go, NMAX. There it is, $53, trying to open back up again here before the close. Thank you so much for watching. Get ready. The countdown is now on as we are now under 10 seconds. Of course, this close and bell is brought to you by Worksport, WKSP. Go check them out on the NASDAQ. Thank you, Worksport. And one. Thank you so much, Adara, for ringing that bell. As don't rush too much back there because we only have a matter of seconds. President Trump right now in our ear, getting ready to step up there. This is his big time to shine, and you know that he loves those times. So this should be very, very interesting. I'm excited for any Q&A if it does happen. If they're ready, I'm going to throw it. If they're ready, Fabian. Because there's no point in me rattling on here. Thank you, Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you, Obi. Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Brendo, Adara, Neil, Ramin, Fabian, everybody, all the viewers. Let's go back over. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We're ready to go. Neil, take it away with Adara.
Hello, we're going to take a look here at these markets. I just have Tesla up right now. It's basically ranged for the rest of the day. Nice little bull flag potentially set up for tomorrow. But of course, you know what we're all going to be waiting for tomorrow? Here's the NASDAQ, and we're going to be watching the market as we get this tariff announcement. I currently have the Bloomberg television stream in my ear. I also have X up to hear anything. Right now, they're just kind of streaming the overall set there. Let's keep an eye on if Trump or if or when Trump takes the stage. Again, we're going to be covering this event. I suspect, just based on Trump's previous history with being punctual to these events, that he may be late. We might not get this by 4. Brendan and I said something similar earlier today as well. But we're going to be covering it regardless. We're going to cover it on X. We're going to keep an eye on everything to let you know when things occur and when things take place. I'm going to have a couple of different streams open too. So if some come out earlier, I'm going to be able to be aware of that. Also, the biggest earnings today is going to be RH Restoration Hardware at 4:05 p.m. So that will also be on watch for us. We're going to keep an eye on everything for you guys. If there's anything we miss, tag me on just in the chat, and I'll be able to get that for you or pull that up, look into that. How are you doing today, Neil?
Well, we're locked and loaded and ready to go. I mean, it's an exciting one. You got to go from, like active trading mode to, okay, well, we're just in information gathering mode here to be able to see what goes on with the market. So yeah, there is Restoration Hardware, or their RH, we're supposed to call it, but all eyes and ears are going to be on what happens with regards to these tariff announcements. Just briefly here, I want to go Tesla, as you were mentioning there. Tesla actually broke the high and is actually starting to pull back a little bit here. So it did break the high, got almost to 285, and is still moving. Big recovery day for Tesla. Delivery numbers were a huge miss this morning. You had the reversal. You had the story that Elon Musk would step down as soon as he was done with the DOGE, and then he rebutted that. All of a sudden, that caused a great crazy candle in here. Now you're right back into these highs. So you're in the right spot for sure. It was a wild trading day. I think we're going to get even crazier as we speak. I'm going to have my eyes overall on the market. The Qs are not moving just yet. You're going to see the market probably move around on these announcements as they come through. But as Adara mentioned, there is no defined timeline here, right? Like, we know everything starts at 4 o'clock. 4:05 we can hear it. 4:10 we can hear it. 4:15 we can hear it. You don't know what's going to get said first, so we're just going to be buckled up, locked and loaded, and ready to go. And as I said, if you have any questions, make sure if you want to be in the chat here, you got to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So if you want to throw questions in here for myself or Adara, or even just to each other, everybody, then jump in the chat, hit that subscribe button. We're right here for you, the ProfitX Market Recap Show. Not a lot happening in the futures. And as Adara mentioned, we do have just RH. In 2 minutes, we get earnings for RH. Nothing out just yet. This is a mover. Moved 17% last quarter on earnings, 16% implied move today, 12% short float. So all indications that you can see some decent movement here. Oh, and then throw in the fact that if you do have tariffs, this is probably going to be a somewhat affected name as well. So there's a heck of a lot going on this afternoon. We're here to cover it for you. A couple of minutes until we get RH. Pretty much eyeballing Tesla and the markets just because Tesla's moving around the most in the aftermarket. Interesting to see if Elon tweets again, but I suspect, like everybody else, He's probably just tuning in for the show and waiting for the tariff announcement like we all are right now. So everyone's in wait and see mode. It's interesting that we actually rallied today going into this for most of the day. You had the NASDAQ rally, and then maybe people taking it off the top as we're starting to fall and get a little closer to the hour. So you had a bit of a comeback in the markets, but not looking too good at the end of the day as they were mostly taking profits on the market in that rally that we had. I'm a little bit skittish here because I tend to think that we rallied a couple of days to just have a bit of a fall here, Adara, but time will tell.
Yeah, time will certainly tell indeed. I was just looking at Newsmax. I saw a headline here. Apparently Newsmax has, and this is just according to Zero Hedge here, apparently they've plunged 77% today. They've erased more than $23 billion in market value, which is pretty wild here. We opened the day, where was this, around 220? And then we closed here around $54. So if you were short Newsmax, sorry, it was yesterday. We opened today here around 190, and then we closed around $50. Either way, still really wild. Let's take a look here, though, at RH, which did just release its earnings. Oh, and it's one of those ones I have to click on the link, which probably won't work. So I'm going to click on the link. I'm going to see what we get here.
It's running it there.
Oh, actually, we have the numbers. Oh, no, I still have to click on another link that I just clicked on. So RH, it is, oh, there we go. I think I finally found them. I apologize. When Benzinga doesn't have them and when they just send us, when they just put links to the reports, it's always a little bit more confusing. But here's RH, and I'm going to zoom in on this report so my eyes can read it. GAAP net revenue here of $3.1 billion. That's up 5%. Oh, that's for the fiscal year. Okay, so sorry about that. Q4, $812 million. That looks like it's below estimates of $827 million from what I was seeing, but it is up 10% year over year. As mentioned earlier, fiscal 2024 revenue, $3.18 billion, up 5% year over year. Let's see if we have these EPS. I'm going to look for the EPS here. Not seeing them yet, but again, we are up 10% year over year for net revenue for Q4. It does look like, though it missed estimates a little bit. I'm going to wait and see the Benzinga summary. Apologies for the confusion there. It's always a little bit harder when they send you links to their very small earnings reports.
Yeah, and it did pop, but then an absolute fade back in on RH. But Donald Trump is making his way to the podium. So RH, bit of a pop to the upside and then failed to the downside. But Donald Trump is making his way to the podium. I'm going to be watching the cues here as he'll make the announcement soon. He's set to announce what's going to happen on tariffs. And
he's actually almost on time.
Yeah, he's actually, look, it's 4 o'clock and it looks like we're going to get a prompt answer to all of our questions on Liberation Day, Tariff Day, whatever you want to end up calling it. It's here right now. And like I said, I'm going to be looking at the cues. I want to see if there's any fallout in some of the Chinese names. The autos, of course, are going to be in play. The retailers are going to matter. The home builders, potentially. We'll see how that goes. For sure, anyone related to the home builders, those are all going to be very big and very important as well. So we don't know what's going to happen just yet, but he is walking over, and I think we're going to see him at the podium any second now. Q's not really moving too much. It was just RH that did that pop and fade. And remember, if that's already weak on earnings, things could get even worse for them if these come out big here, Adara.
Yeah, Donald Trump just said thank you very much. We'll have to see if this has the same effect as Jerome Powell's good afternoon when the market tends to move. Here is RH, though, massively to the downside. I mentioned earlier here these numbers. So EPS 158, that is below estimates, well below estimates of $1.92. Sales, $812.4 million. As I mentioned earlier, it seems like they missed estimates, and they did. Versus estimates here of $829.5 million. Now, this guidance, though, was actually not bad. So last quarter here, they had revenue growth of 10%. Now they're seeing 12.5 to 13.5% revenue growth for Q1. Again, though, it's hard to tell what that's going to be like for Q1 of last year in comparison. For fiscal 2025, they're seeing revenue growth of 10 to 13% versus 5% revenue growth for fiscal 2024. So again, this guidance does not look bad, but they did miss on top and bottom line. Donald Trump is currently talking. He is wearing a black trench coat. He looks kind of like a super spy. He's got a nice red tie there, so repping that American colors. Let's find out what happens here in this speech. I am listening right now. I'm watching the White House stream, which I think is maybe a couple seconds behind, but I also have X up. So between all of us, we will have every bit of news you need for the tariffs. I apologize for the speed of my speech, but these markets move quickly, and so does Mr. Trump.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he obviously is going to be moving the markets. We haven't actually heard anything just yet, but once we do, we should see some rapid-fire action. There There was that story earlier. I don't know if he'll comment on it. My guess is if you hear anything with regards to Elon and DOGE, that might be an after he's discussed the tariff type of thing. But I would keep our ear to the ground for that as well, because originally it came from Trump that Elon would step down right away. And Elon's like, that report is going to be no good. So I think it'll be interesting to see if he does make any comments. Tesla could easily move on that. The Qs could move on that. So right now we're just in that wait and see mode. It is pretty ugly what happened in RH, however. That's not on my chart. I want to quickly just go over RH because we should always point out when it gets to a big level. It just went right to its 52-week low and is riding the 52-week low on RH here on the daily chart, about 218. So yeah, big flush. It's trying to bounce at the one spot where you might think it would, which is at the 52-week lows on Restoration Hardware. But overall, it's just about what happens next. As you said, I mean, right now you're getting sort of the usual comments, like jobs and factories will come back because of this, and mostly that's what we have. We don't have any specifics just yet. And I think the market would be moving a heck of a lot more if we had some specifics. Right now we're just getting the usual talk. There you go. Now we've got it up so you guys can all see. And the captions as well, so you're able to sort of follow along live. But right now with Dara, nothing too much. The market muted sell. There was a small downtick in the SPY just now, but nothing too crazy yet, everybody.
Yeah, right now, like some people were saying here, I think I was talking to Obi and he said it could be a buy the news event because we sold the rumor on a lot of these tariff concerns. Let's see if it is buy the news. Right now, though, he's saying that we will be implementing reciprocal tariffs. They do it to us. We will do it to them. Also here, he said that today could be one of the most important days in American history. That is a quote. Again, he's talking about jobs and factories coming back. I think watching those job numbers tomorrow could be pretty interesting. For what it's worth, factory orders actually did have a slight uptick on a month-over-month basis, as we saw earlier today. 0.6% versus 0.5% expected. Though I'm going to check this, but I believe it was a little bit below the previous number. Yeah, so factory orders month over month, a little above estimates, but they were actually down versus 1.7%. previously. So we're going to have to wait and see. Right now, it does not necessarily seem like factories are coming back, though the ADP employment change is positive. So maybe jobs are, but we'll find out once we actually see the impact of these tariffs.
Well, one important thing to remember is like a lot of this, like the numbers that are coming out, factory orders, and this was talked about for the labor numbers with regards to DOGE layoffs, it's a little too early to have the data affecting it yet. I think that's the kind of thing you're going to see a little bit later on. So, you know, I'm more concerned about like what kind of economic numbers are you seeing in reaction to this a couple of months down the line? Like when, and again, this can go either way. I'm not predicting which direction it's going to go, especially in labor. I think a lot of people are worried about recession, which is hard to do if the labor market holds up. But if you're hitting pressure in two ways here, which is rising prices, and of course, the labor market's starting to weaken, that's why that number, the non-farm payroll, is going to be big on Friday, everybody. So I think that's what you got to pay attention to. I'm not overreacting to any economic numbers. I mean, today we got a little bit of a strong data number for jobs. That's not that correlated with ADP, which is coming out on Friday. And again, nothing too crazy coming out here yet from Donald Trump, President Trump, as we speak. Like we want specifics. We haven't heard specifics just yet. The NASDAQ and the ES, they're both very slightly moving right now. Just a little bit of a bounce, but not a heck of a big move at all here. And you know, you got to watch out. We're in Canada, so every single time, and I just saw John, I saw what you put in there in the chat. If you're Canadian, you're on watch here. We have an election coming through. Obviously, it's a major trade partner. Our market's been doing really well, but our auto industry, I mean, incredibly intertwined. It's a big deal. Like one of the biggest plants is actually not that far from where I live. So got to watch out. I think this can be wide affecting. We're not getting a crazy, now all of a sudden you're getting a bounce in the ES here. So nice little spike there in the futures. At this moment, they're starting to buy it up here, although I didn't hear anything that I think would indicate that. But here goes the ES. Maybe it is a bit of a buy the news. That's what Obi was saying. Hey, maybe it's all priced in and we're going to get a bit of bounce. I was a bit pensive on this. I was kind of thinking we might see another leg down, but the SPY trying to break it out of today's highs. Not huge, up 1 point here. And then when you look at it on the daily chart, it's not like we've gone all that far, but nice little bounce so far as we're heading to the upside. Checking some individual names, Tesla, which was already strong. That's breaking through highs of the day as we speak. All the big names, everybody. NVIDIA breaking out, heading toward the highs.
Tariffs.
We're starting to really go here.
So basically, he apparently, it was hard to hear because he mostly spent a lot of his time in this speech just talking about the tariffs from other countries. But apparently, he said the U.S. is going to impose 10% across the board tariffs on all imports. So that's a lot better than what we were expecting. However, auto tariffs not coming into effect until tomorrow. I just heard another breaking news headline, so I'm going to check on that one. Yeah, Wall Street Journal is saying that the U.S. is going to be imposing 10% across the board tariffs. This new tariff plan is basically a combination of proposals for the universal tariffs and the country-by-country rates. So keep an eye on that. Trump saying 10% tariffs across the board. Again, I totally missed him saying that just due to the fact that he's been talking quite a lot about all of these tariffs that other countries have put upon them. But again, as of right now, it does seem like 10% across the board tariffs.
And everything is flying. I mean, Bitcoin just broke the high. IBIT at $50 in here, so that just broke out through the highs. You're basically seeing an everything rally, generally speaking. Like whether it's going to be directly related or not. Just quickly going to go over and show you. Like you got General Motors breaking
25% auto tariffs
as well. Well, 25% auto tariffs, but like I said, it's an everything rally. I'm a little surprised that you're seeing this strength in GM. I get it that the rest of the market's going to bounce on that 10% here, but this is a pretty impressive move. You're going to see like Ford again, a little bit surprised, maybe a little bit more muted. That said, Ford fared better to GM actually dropped further when we were getting bad news, so it makes sense to me that they would rally a little bit more as well. So if you look at what's going on here, it's not just individual names. As I said, the broad market, the Qs holding out some of those highs. And ultimately, if you look at it, like I said, on that daily chart, it's not that crazy, but it is a break of those local highs. Maybe we get a chance to challenge this trend. Could be the kind of thing where you're priced in a little bit here, and if they've priced it in and we got 10 and it's seemingly better than what everyone was expecting, well, there's a lot of people that would probably short this. Like it is undeniable when you look at these charts. Like if you look at the Qs, we have been trend down. You look at the SPY, we have been trend down. I bet you I can pull up the IWM. Not that the small caps matter as much, but they've been trend down on the daily, and you're getting relief rally. If you were short on any of these indices and you were looking for a spot to cover or take a little profit out, it makes some sense. I don't think you're getting yet a rip your face off rally. I think that gets determined in the next couple of days. Still have to get through that ADP report on Friday as well, but so far so good. If you're going to be along in this market, you're going to be happy with it. Palantir just saw $90 to the upside, just going through some of the names that are getting a piece of this relief rally. $90 on Palantir, that was already running today, and that's going higher and higher. So pretty much everything looking really good here. Just going to double check what's going on in gold, and as you would expect, GLD, market goes up, gold comes down and pulling back a bit. That's been a great place to hide out. Not even a blip on the daily, however. But keep in mind, if that's been the correlation, people coming out of tech, people coming out of the market, putting something into gold, well, when it reverses, you're going to see gold drop off a little bit here. So not a huge move on gold, but it did just turn red at Dara.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still listening here right now. He just had someone from the UAW come up and talk about Trump and his presidency. I guess just for the sake of these auto-related tariffs, it's not really anything market-related, though, but it is worth noting that did happen. Right now, he's continuing to talk about the different people that will be benefited. He's talking about cans of milk. This is F, actually. Ford looking quite nice. Here is the NASDAQ. Yeah, he also said that the Canadian tariffs on dairy are of concern. That was the Canada or can of milk related comment, or Canada of milk, maybe if you want to say, because I will still pun even when we're getting tariff announcements. But yeah, regardless, it does still seem like Canada and Mexico, especially with regards to auto tariffs, are a bit of a sticking point for Trump. We know that he's not really a fan of how either country has handled their tariff situation. So something to be aware of. No new tariffs, though, announced other than the 25% auto tariff going into place tonight, and then also the 10% tariff on all countries' imports.
Yeah, and that's the big line in there. And as I said, you're seeing so much strength in some of these names. You've actually seen Tesla tag $290 just now. And remember, Tesla was down this morning because of the big miss on deliveries. Then you had the story about Elon Musk. Elon Musk going to be leaving after his DOGE responsibilities are finished. That got a spike in the middle of the day that it held. Now we're breaking it back out. So Tesla looking very good, very strong right now. I mean, obviously, like I said, the correlation in this particular case, you're going to see some names that have been strong, like the metals have been strong, and they're going to be pulling back in here. But you're seeing a heck of a lot of strength. I think there's going to be some profit taking. Like, it would be crazy to me, and heck, what do I know? It would be crazy to me that if you get pops like this, that anyone was trading breakouts, let's just say after market, and while President Trump is still talking, of course, as I say that, it starts to pull back, that wouldn't think about taking profits in there, because who knows? Maybe he says something in the next 5 minutes which reverses us here. Not that he did, but you get that $10 move from a consolidation, you pull right back in. I bet you NVIDIA is doing the exact same thing. No, NVIDIA is actually holding the highs. So Tesla pulling back, NVIDIA holding the highs. I don't want to read too much into that, but it's undeniable. One thing that I can tell you is true. I'm treating the levels that get made here, especially in the aftermarket and the overnight as well. So I'll be looking at Blue Ocean, OTC Moon, the aftermarket tonight to see if any big levels get put in, because they matter. It's the same thing as looking at a Fed day. What are the tops that get put in on a Fed day after 2 o'clock? What are the tops that get put in after an announcement like this? So it's notable to me. Like, we'll try to remember that Tesla, it's not that hard, you can see it on the chart. If we hold this 290 in the overnight market, which I expect to have some action here on Blue Ocean, I would expect if it holds 290 as support or resistance, I'm going to lock in on that tomorrow, and that's going to be a big one. Other thing to keep in mind here for Tesla, like I said, it's still got it's got the Elon Musk aspect to it, but that 290 level looking like a good one for now.
Yeah, I think too, sorry to interrupt there, I'm still listening to Trump, so it's kind of hard to tell when people are starting to get finished talking. But he's not saying much right now. Again, he's just talking about what other countries have done to the U.S. Again, he's called it Liberation Day because he's really viewing these tariffs as a way to free the U.S. from what he views as prohibited practices in other countries with regards to tariffs. I'm going to say it one more time in case anybody came in late. 10% tariffs, baseline rate of 10% tariffs for all countries, 25% tariffs for Canadian and Mexican auto imports. I want to talk about the DXY, though. Jojo in the chat, shout out to you, who mentioned this. We had quite the drop here in the DXY. Basically, when these 10% tariffs were announced, we go from around 103.90s to a low of 103.30s right now, trying to bounce, but it looks like maybe a lower high. DXY really dropping to the downside here. Let's see what the Canadian dollar to the USD is doing, pushing to the upside on these 10% tariffs, and the euro to the USD. So again, this 10% tariff was kind of viewed as one of the best case scenarios. So it makes sense that the euro and Canadian dollar are pumping, for lack of a better term, while the US dollar is pushing to the downside. There's nothing really new to say from Trump's talk. He's continuing to talk about tariffs from different countries in the past. So just something to be aware of here. Talk is still happening. If I hear or see on X anything of note, I will absolutely let you guys know immediately.
Yeah, and one thing to cue in on, the broad market, I know a lot of people, whether you look at the SPY or the Qs, I think if you're tech heavy, like I know a lot of people have been the last couple of years, maybe you care more about the Qs. What I'm looking at right now is we get into these highs, and we're at about 480 in here. Let me zoom in. Oh, it doesn't want me to zoom in. It doesn't matter. Here's the trend from the top. Like, we can now sort of connect. You have the highs, all-time high double top, and then you've got the relief rally that we put in. When you connect those two dots, I feel like if we break away from those points, then we can head back in and maybe retest that 500. But I don't want to I don't want to overreact to this. Like, if you break this trend, let's go. I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. Like, all the support levels, I have no problem buying support levels on dips, but you need to break that trend. And I think we can really go flying. So you'd have to get past that it would be about, 485 or so, which is more or less where we've resisted this top. So there are some big levels coming in on the SPY, on the Qs, that will be a break of this downward trend. Yes, we've already bounced, and there was a relief rally, but you didn't really take out that trend line. And I think it's a place where, like, I always ask myself, what's the counterparty? Like, where would you need to break for more shorts to start covering? And I think I'm looking at that 583 to 585 level on the Qs. 483 to 485 on the Qs as an important level for that. And from there, individual names, as I said, I know we look at and talk a lot about Tesla. That's going to be a big one, no questions asked. But it's not just something. I was literally saying Tesla and wanted to go to NVIDIA. We always talk about Tesla a lot of time, but remember the chip names have been absolutely beaten up. I think NVIDIA's also got a very distinct trend that it's been putting in of lower highs. Like you can see it here, and then you put a more steeper one in. Like this is on the precipice. You've made a little bit of a bottom here in NVIDIA. You didn't break 100. If you start holding out and breaking away from 115, 116, maybe the 124 break is going to look pretty good as well. These are all things that probably don't come into play maybe till next week. Maybe they come into play tomorrow. Who knows? Those Qs look pretty good. Not an overwhelming move in my opinion yet, but you have to look out to what's going to happen next year. I like the fact specifically on NVIDIA that when everything started to dip back in, it was holding the prior high. Like that immediately, I always like that. That's the first thing I want to see. Tesla pulls all the way back to the breakout, the Qs pull back. No, NVIDIA goes right back into prior high and holds the prior high or in the aftermarket. If we do that tonight, if we hold this 112 tonight, I'm going to come in tomorrow as long as we don't gap down. And my first thought is going to be long off that level. It doesn't mean it's going to work. If we get underneath, yeah, sure, I'm probably willing to reverse at all times. But I like to see that specifically here on NVIDIA showing a little bit of relative strength holding out these tops. Only a couple of points up on the day, but it's a heck of a lot better than the bleed that we've been having recently here. And as a reminder to everybody, not to be a harbinger of bad news, we did have RH earnings, RH down 14%, RH now making a fresh 52-week low. So not all good news, looking pretty bad for them. Unfortunately, remember, earnings still matter, right? The market sentiment can only do so much for you. At the end of the day, if your guidance isn't good, if your fundamentals aren't good, and you're already under pressure, people are going to back out and put the money where it's been running. In a lot of places, the market has been doing really well. RH has not been one. New 52-week low for them.
Yeah, but I want to shout out Bears versus Bulls in the chat for awesome moderation skills, killing it every single day. Just wanted to mention that really quickly because there are understandably lots of excitement in the chat today with this tariff announcement and with all these Trump-related stories. It's also worth noting here that Donald Trump just said, nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the total, including non-monetary barriers. So again, 10% base rate tariff. It does sound like there's going to be some other non-monetary barriers taken into consideration. But also, I wanted to go over these RH earnings yet again, because other than the miss, the guidance is actually pretty solid. So adjusted earnings of $1.58 per share, below estimates of $1.92. Sales did miss estimates as well, $812.4 million versus $829.563 million. But their sales were still up here on the quarterly basis, their sales rose by 10%. Annually, they rose by 5%. So they're viewing Q1 revenue growth between 12.5 to 13.5%. That looks like it'll be up, at least on a sequential basis. But then the annual revenue growth guidance is where I really get confused about this move. They're guiding 10 to 13% annual growth, but the revenue grew 5% last year. That's implying at least double year-over-year growth. So at least not like double, but double from what we got last year. So I'm a little bit confused here. Here's a reciprocal tariff graphic from Donald Trump himself. So shout out to Infographics over here. Apparently, the reciprocal tariff rate will be half of their tariff rate. So that headline just came in. There's going to be a 20% tariff on the EU, according to this chart. So
yikes.
He's saying he's charging discounted rates,
and you're
I guess.
seeing the market come back on that.
Yeah. 34% tariff on all imports from China. Someone in the chat, I think it was TH, just very astutely mentioned, he hasn't mentioned China yet. That's probably because 34% tariff on imports from China.
GM is tanking right now. So the second we saw that chart, GM, well, I mean, we had already reversed a little bit. We just accelerated to the downside. General Motors now down 1.5%. I can bet you Ford is going to be bleeding a little bit. Not as much because they don't move as much on this as General Motors is. The Qs just caught a wave to the downside, accelerating through. That's breaking lows.
46% tariffs on Vietnam.
Like you're hearing the numbers, and you can see the chart. If it's 50% of whatever the tariff is in those nations, you got to understand there are really high tariffs on American goods. Like India has like some of their highest rates on U.S. cars, like 70% on some vehicles. So half is actually quite big in some cases, and you're seeing the autos taking in the chin. The NASDAQ is now red. I guarantee you, I promise you, that little pullback that we had in gold, yeah, that didn't last. Gold with a bounce, so that correlation's still going to hold. This is what we're talking about here. Like anybody, you saw that bounce in the market. You really think while he's still talking, people aren't going to take some profit that are day trade or scalping that bounce? Well, I really hope they did so, because the rug just got pulled a little bit. Unless you happen to be in gold, we're right back to that downside, unfortunately. In all that mess just now, obviously the market came down, Tesla as well, now breaking lower. Underneath 280, that 290 is now absolutely gone. So the second we saw that chart to see the real numbers individually by country, yeah, a bit of a dump zone here, unfortunately. Tesla down, Q's now red. GM took it on the chin there just now. Obviously, that makes a heck of a lot of sense. Not looking very good for the market. You go from a little bit of exuberance to right back to what we were doing before.
And I almost wonder if they start with a 10% announcement just to lull us to do a false sense of security. Also, we're matching in the blue. I love these windows. Because I was thinking, oh, it actually seems, no, not that bad. The market was really excited. But I have to shout out anybody in the chat who is short right now, because I know there are some of you, Daryl Flinch in the chat mentioning short. You are printing. So here are all the tariffs mentioned in the chart. Apparently, 25% tariff on South Korea, 36% tariff on Thailand, 31% reciprocal tariff on Switzerland, 49% tariff on Cambodia. These are all reciprocal. But then 20% on EU, 34% on China, 46% on Vietnam, 24% on Japan. UK just gets the 10% flat rate. Canada, I don't think has been mentioned yet, nor has Mexico, but I know those auto tariffs are kind of reserved for them. And it does sound like the ones on this chart are really only going to be the exceptional ones. Again, as far as I can tell, it's something I definitely want to rewatch when I'm in a scenario that I can just sit down and listen to everything he says, because there is a lot being said, and in this case, being shown to us right now. So lots of tariffs here on watch. And again, these auto companies getting hit pretty hard here.
Yeah, Tesla, we saw that, but Apple down 2.25% here, just broke 218. That was up at 225. It's going to be across the board and just a lot of pain to be had. Looking over at just a few names as we try to wrap this up for you just to see what's going on. Amazon turned red just now, breaking 192. This was almost at $200 just now, and Amazon dropping. Like it's flat because of the rally that we had, but Amazon just gave up almost $10 exactly. It's almost a 5% move down on Amazon. You're going to have Walmart, which for obvious reasons at $90. Now it's down at 87 and still falling here. So you have a big time move to the downside across the board. I know a lot of people are concerned about, yeah, it's like, what's Tesla doing? I see a lot of Tesla in the chat. Tesla at 270. That just dropped $20 off the high. Pretty much everything is falling.
Fed talk now.
And now all of a sudden he's talking about the Fed?
Oh, no, we have talk from the Fed.
Oh, that's
Fed's
right.
Kugler saying some, kind of, I don't want to say hawkish, but cautious things right now, saying that she supports keeping the current policy rate in place as long as upside risk to inflation continue, saying inflation expectations have risen. Upcoming policy changes hold upside risk. I'm guessing those policy changes, when this speech was written, might have had something to do with tariffs. Also saying the latest data indicates progress towards the 2% inflation target may have stalled. So less progress towards inflation. Fed's Kugler wants to keep rates in place for now. Labor market indicators suggesting continued moderation, but not significant weakening. Now we have 26% tariffs on all Indian goods, 10% tariffs on imports from Brazil. Every second I look at X, there is a new tariff. It's like Oprah Winfrey. Look under the chair and see what tariffs you find.
You get a tariff. You get a tariff. That first move, that was like one of those patented pump fakes, the Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf pump fake. My high school coach had a ridiculous pump fake. He had that old man pump fake. That's what we just got. But I think the drop, we don't know anything yet. Tomorrow, that's when we get put to the test, everybody. Like, what happens tomorrow? We were looking like we were trying to break trend. We resisted. I could redraw a trend line. I had it on the Qs. You could show it on the SPY as well. We're trying to retest trend line. We've had support at 550 on the SPY. We've had support locally on the Qs. The question becomes, like, yeah, we resist the trend line right there. Are we going to be able to hold that support tomorrow in the upcoming days and weeks? Friday, when we get that non-farm payroll, which is going to be big. It's going to be wild. One thing we can be certain of, Adair, is that we're going to have plenty of volatility in this here market, which makes our job every single day here at Trader TV Live a heck of a lot more fun, because I promise you this bright and early, we're going to be locked and loaded and ready to go, because the volatility is here to stay, Adair. Yeah,
this is pretty wild. I mean, I guess it's now like already 4:30 somehow, but I wanted to show you guys the CME Fed Watch tool before we leave, because I think it's pretty key. I was looking at those comments from Fed's Kugler, especially after the tariffs, and I thought, hey, what is this market doing with regards to inflation expectations? So yesterday I noted we actually had shockingly low expectations of no I guess, a hold in the next Fed meeting. So we were at 81% yesterday, expecting no change. 19% yesterday, we're expecting a 25 basis point cut. Those odds have changed dramatically now, Neil. 92.3% of participants expecting no change in the rate. The Fed will hold rates steady. 7.7% only are now expecting a 25 basis point cut. So that has been cut from more than half of yesterday's number of 19%. And I apologize for the, emphasis, but this is really wild. More than half your cut for these expectations of a 25 basis point cut coming through in May, on May 7th, about just over a month away. I wonder what's going to change from then. And someone in the chat as well, got rats, ? I love that username, was tagging me saying, does this mean that other countries are going to be raising their tariffs as well? That's what I've seen has been the expectation. Canada, Mark Carney, Prime Minister, has talked about fighting for Canada, implied to potentially to be tariffs, though Canada also has the risk of becoming the 51st state, so it's a bit more complicated. But regardless, it does seem like these countries are not going to go down without a fight. We're going to have to wait and see what occurs, but I think this is certainly something to be aware of.
Yeah, and I think as we were saying before, and shout out to you, Bud C. Hey, Neil, good job waiting to dip by. I think that's obvious. And we're talking about that today. Like I said, across the board, like some of these recent lows that you've dipped off of, I'm not that interested in buying them right now. I think you got to wait it out a little bit here. And again, it was just my personal opinion. I tend to be a little bit risk averse, and knowing we're having an event like this, you want to see how it shakes out. And right now, the tree is shaking, and it's not going our way. Like we're not dropping golden apples right here. It doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom. We've seen this before. Let's see how we react over the coming days and weeks. It's well past 4:30. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Market Recap Show, the ProfitX Market Recap Show. It's been an absolutely wild one. And a big, big shout out. Like, you've got the president up there. We're able to show you the graphics. You've got the caption. You've got Adara up here. But we can't make this work and do this all for you live without our team here. And Fabian, Remy, and Andre doing a fantastic job making it look and sound good. It's Fabian right in here today with that awesome flow that you see. I need to steal a little bit of that. That would be nice, Fabian, but is what it is. A big shout out to them. Big shout out to Bears versus Bulls, our moderator. I'm going to say it twice. I'll say it once now for you, Bears versus Bulls. Big shout out to our entire team, Joe, Sharif. Today was Obi on the midday show, my man Sean, Brendan, and of course joining me on the news desk here, Adara. But we do something around here. If it's your first time with us, we do something at the end of the aftermarket recap show, and that's the roll call. And I want everybody to join the chat. If you're not in the chat, it's a subs-only chat. Let me make this bigger so you can see. Subscribers-only chat. If you want to have your name read, you got to join, subscribe, pump in there and say, thank you, Bears versus Bulls, for being the best moderator in the absolute business. We love you. Appreciate you so much. Let's get a little roll call.
Yeah, thank you all so much for being here with us today because there's so much to talk about. I'm definitely going to miss some names here because there's so much going on. But I do want to quickly add this headline before we go. Donald Trump saying to foreign leaders, terminate your own tariffs, start buying American goods. So that's his response. Tariffs will give us growth, he also said. It's interesting, too. I know Israel changed some of their rules ahead of the tariff announcement, but they're still getting hit with a 17% tariff. So I guess they didn't change them enough. Thank you again to Bears vs. Bulls for everything you do. Day Trader Cut, Keebstein, Nick Chapakis, we've got Tez, we have Adaze, we have Jesse, Take Profit Tom, Carlo Venegas, Andrew Chow, Big Saws, Monty G, Jesse, Take Profit Tom, TH. We've got Gaurav, we have Jose, we have Corey Appledom, One Short, Apex Analytics, Onto Blockchains, Horse Reaction, Blackhawk, JP, Seawave, Pickle Jim, Brian H, Available Bank Holder, Monty G, Clover, Seaways, Steve M, Doug, Malcolm, Aldridge, and I want to shout out some of the people in the chat I saw earlier, Daryl, Flinch, and Darwin, all of these great participants in the chat. Derek Thompson here, TX Trader here, everybody's here. We're going to have a great time tomorrow as the Qs just took out today's lows and the pre-market lows, and no, I am not joking. This is wild.
It's all real. Market's still falling in here, but you know what? The best part about trading and the best part about Trader TV Live is we're here to cover it, trade it, and everything for you tomorrow, whether it's CoreWeave, whether it's Tesla, whether it's the Qs, whether it's GM, it doesn't matter. If it moves, then we're on it. So get lots of rest, everybody. Have a good evening. We'll see you right back early at 8:30 in the morning with the fallout in the market from Liberation Day and Tariff Wednesday. See you tomorrow, everybody.